Hello, everybody, and welcome to a funky new episode of the MinnMax Show. MinnMax Show is a place about games, friends, and getting better. I'm Ben Hansen in the studio with a bunch of lovely folks. For the first time ever, we have Janet Garcia in the MinnMax studio.
Hello.
For the first time ever, we have Jacob Geller recording with Janet Garcia in the MinnMax studio.
It's old hat to me. I'm used to it.
And we have Kelsey Lewin in person as well.
It's also my first time. Why don't I get
Welcome.
a fun intro?
This is the
Welcome
most fun.
to MinnMax USA.
Yeah.
aka what I call the people who don't live in
MinnMax.
Minnesota,
No.
which implies that Minnesota is not in the USA. Don't read into it. This is just what I named the group chat I have with Kelsey and Jacob from SGF.
So here's the funky situation. We're all in town. Naturally, I live here, but we have the MinnMax community meetup that is happening this Saturday at Uta Pills from 12 to 5. Uta Pills Brewing in Minneapolis. And so we're going to be there being very lovely with the community. We ran into several large snakes. I would say, just like the Titanic hit a bit of a snag. So far.
Yeah.
Our dear friend Haley up in Canada was not let through U.S. Customs because she might appear in a video down here. And they said, well, even if you say you're not going to, we can't let you because we have reason to suspect that you might appear in the background of a YouTube video, so therefore you can't go to the U.S., which was really rough. Then, extra wrinkle, I am in a little bit of a side room because my kid is sick. And so I'm feeling fine, but we're trying to be cautious, and so my kid is sick, and so I'm going to be over here. At the meetup, I'm going to have gloves and a full mask, and I'll keep my distance from everybody, but it's felt rude
It's going to
not
be the
to be
first
there.
council mask, right?
Oh, that's better.
Ooh,
Yeah,
yeah.
totally should. And then today, Leo Vader's like, yeah, it turns out my wife is also sick with the same thing that my kid has. And so disconnected entirely. And so people are dropping like flies, which is why in this episode of the MinnMax Show, we're going to be talking about Time Flies, all about a game dropping.
I knew that was coming.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about, of course, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. Janet played the new Bloober game called Cronos, the New Dawn. We're going to be talking about that. We all played a game called And Roger. We're going to be unpacking that. And then back half of the show, of course, we have some great questions submitted over there by the community. So thank you, everybody, for bearing with us as... You know, it's kind of the fun thing. Jacob, it's like trying to film a Mission Impossible movie. Christopher McQuarrie doesn't give up. He just pivots. You just got to change the plan.
Look, and sometimes those pieces come together, and sometimes they don't, and we won't know until we see the travelogue.
That's right. Is it the first third of Final Reckoning or the final third of Final Reckoning? So for audio listeners, I'm in a little control room area kind of off to the side from the restroom over there. So it's hopefully I don't sound too wildly different and all this fun stuff. But here's the thing. Thank you all for being here in the community. If you would like to directly support independent games media, if you jump in on Patreon this week, we will DM you a Steam code for Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3 from Strange Scaffold, a game that came out back in April. Jacob and I talked about it on the podcast. Jacob, what was your final read on that game? How would you describe it?
Really cool. Like a great, incredibly meta thing on how hard it is to make a video game, but you get to be playing Bejeweled the whole time.
Yeah, it's a Puzzle Quest style game, but awesome to have like a Metroid Match 3 is how they describe it. It's a funky format. So if you support us at any tier on Patreon, even that $2 tier before August 11th, we'll DM you a Steam code for Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3. And if you upgrade to any tier, if you want the extended version of the travelogue we're making while we're all in Minneapolis together, you can upgrade to that Backstage Pass tier, and we'll also send you that Steam code for Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3. We'll post on all social media if we run out of codes. But thanks everybody for your support here. How's everybody doing? How's your Airbnb? Walk me through. Jacob, you just flew in today. Boy, your arm's tired.
I woke up at 3:50 a.m. today, so we're all kind of redlining it. But the Airbnb is great. I had the weird experience of I came in and everyone was asleep because it was very early in the morning. And so,
Yeah, I heard footsteps, and I just assumed Janet was up earlier than she said she was going to be up, and I was like, oh, I'll get up in a little bit. And then I walk out, and Jacob is sitting on the couch, and I was like, oh, right. He's getting in early
It's
today.
actually kind of the start to And Roger, but we'll get into that later.
Oh my God, it's an exact situation. Totally right.
who is that man?
I was like, wait, Dad, is that you?
Yeah.
I mean, we have been discussing it. It is hard to avoid the feeling of a curse of us all trying to be together in the same place, because the first time that we did it was in Asheville, and then a hurricane knocked Asheville back on its bottom for a little while. And then this time, and then everyone's sick, and Haley was screwed by U.S. Customs. But I love hanging out with you guys. This is just the same group that we had for SGF,
It's just
which was really
SGF
fun.
SGF part 2.
in Minneapolis.
When things are going wrong in my household or in my life, we repeat to ourselves, I still think today is going to be a good day. So that's kind of going to be like the sub-mantra of the trip for me, where it's like, you know what? I still think this is going to be a good trip.
Yeah.
And I think if we just will that into existence, still lots of fun to be had, but yeah, definitely tough to, I don't know, it feels like almost like when you take like an L, like playing like in a sporting event, or like, for me it's soccer, where it's like, oh my God, you just have to go immediately back into it. Like you can't let it trip you up. And I feel like that's kind of some of the energy of what we got going on here. So.
I think, because like normally when things don't go well, it's like, oh, this is rough. But at the same time, thinking about it like, oh, this travelogue is going to be so different and so wonky. And so I keep getting stressed out, then I realize like, oh, the community's fine. Like, I don't think anyone's going to be outraged at us of like, we wanted the shot of all you guys together and now we're getting screwed. Like, there's still going to be plenty of footage of everybody playing and having a good time together. It's just going to be without Haley and largely without me and largely without Leo.
So far.
That's right. We'll see how it all
but
goes.
also, it's fun because we still now have, like, we still intend to go to Asheville at some point. And it's like, that can still be the kind of, like, culminating MinnMax event of everyone's here in the same place, hopefully.
I mean, they made a lot of Final Destination movies, so I do think we can keep trying to get the 8 of us together.
We're all driving behind a log truck.
Yeah.
And it makes, the in-person Pew Pew Bang, which is coming up in November?
Maybe.
Well, so that was the thing. We weren't
not.
We weren't planning on doing a live Pew Pew, or not a live, but a in-person Pew Pew Bang there, because we'd have to lug a lot of equipment there to make that work. And I don't really, I mean, now I'm trying to figure out if we've got that option.
I think there's a cheaper way to do it, I think, with mics, because the point was, and we talked about it on the first episode, you all talked about it on the first episode of PP Bang's second season, of like, oh, it's going to be the first in-person episode here, and with Haley down, and I was like, oh, no, okay, that makes it more complicated, but it just, that's the thing, Jacob, you're totally right. It'll make everything sweeter when we do finally all get together. It's the hero's journey. He doesn't get what he wants right away. Sometimes we have to come back summer after summer and hope that, daycares aren't overrun with horrific diseases. Is that too much?
I'm just worried that like one of us is gonna die before we get to do that. Like, I feel
Why
like
would you say that?
Yeah, don't put that out there.
What are you doing, Kelsey? Out of your mind?
we're heading that direction. Everything's going wrong. A branch almost fell on us on our way to your house. A tree like died in front of us.
I mean, if you knew everything, every moment you almost died throughout your entire life, no one would be able to enjoy life. So at a certain point, it's just we got to keep forging ahead.
Climb into that tanning bed. Just see what happens, you know?
That's right. This game called And Roger, it came out of the blue. I feel like in the Monday meeting, it was brought up. And I think, was it Sarah who described it? She's like, yeah, I hear it's like Florence, but kind of effed up.
That was me. But
Was it?
yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
You played the demo.
Yeah, I played the demo of this game, which is just the first 10 minutes. And it was one of the rare times where I felt very engrossed in a demo. I think a lot of times, like, I was taste testing a lot of stuff on Steam, and I'm like bouncing between things. And this was one where it ended, and I just was like, I gotta see what's next. And the release date was right after I did the demo, so convenient.
Yeah. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah. So it is. If you remember Florence, that mobile game from, gosh, a long time, 2018, I think, where it's like very simple mobile game where you're kind of moving things around, telling the story of your relationship. This game, it's on Steam and Switch, but it's a fascinating little game. It's going to take you about an hour. It's like $5. But I've never had a game transition so smoothly from like settings in the opening and then realizing like, oh no, this is the game. It's all just like moving a little white cursor. And instead of being like, do you want it full screen or not? It's just suddenly you're in the narrative, which is such a cool transition.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, we had an interesting conversation this morning because, you played it, then I played it, and Florence is, like, one of my favorite games, period.
Wow.
Like, I think Florence is just, like, masterpiece of storytelling, blah, 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 all that. And to me, this game feels really like it is so indebted to Florence. It's almost like you're having fun watching someone do a remix of it, because it's like a lot of the mechanics are similar, but then there's like a new spin on it or whatever. But then Kelsey, I was like, you've played Florence, right? And you were like, no. So this is, you're experiencing the remix on your first listen or whatever. So I don't know. Were you like, these mechanics are incredible and innovative?
I mean, I do think my thought playing through this game was like, this is why video games are such a cool storytelling medium.
Yes.
It's just one of those where, like, this is a story that would not hit the same without doing these. I mean, they're kind of like, this is going to be a weird comparison, but if you've never played any of these, like, it's almost like WarioWare-esque, just like little mini vignettes of, like, not even full games, not full mechanics. You just do a little task of some kind to move the story forward. And yeah, I mean, this is a hard game to talk about because it's like an hour long, and you don't want to spoil it. And it comes out swinging really hard.
Yeah, I think it's easy to be like, it's a really simplified, interactive, hour-long experience about a struggling woman. Might be the best way to ambiguously put it.
That's probably like the only
struggle
one.
Indeed.
But it is just like, it's like Florence the whole time is like, what if we told a romance, you know, through this little thing. And it's a very, and it like goes places and the story kind of does things that you wouldn't expect, but it is just like a romance. And this one immediately starts in horror. You know, like the first 10 minutes, which is like crazy when you told me like that's what the demo is, are like overt horror. Yeah. And then it transitions into something else. But like, I thought it was so cool just getting it out of the way right at the beginning of being like, you might recognize these mechanics, but like, this is not the tone you're expecting from this kind of game and this kind of like very pretty kind of hand-drawn art style. It just doesn't imply that you are going to be incredibly stressed for the first like 10 minutes of this game. And
then it transitions into like a very sweet story in the middle of it. And that contrast is, I don't know, it was a very interesting way to like, to start with the horror and then have this nice, like, sweet, uplifting. You kind of feel like the game is resolving itself already. And then, of course, it doesn't. But
Right. I feel like I could have used a couple more moments of that sweet stuff where it does feel like it's just, you know, a metaphorical representation of a lot of struggles throughout this entire game, you know? But it is like that fun challenge. If you're a fan of just kind of boiling down game design, but like, okay, what is the visual representation? What are you actually using your mouse to do to visualize like struggling to communicate with somebody? You know, it's like that level of just kind of little mental game to try and piece together for this little story game. Yeah,
I think this game does an incredible job disorienting the player and also like continuously surprising the player. Like one of my favorite aspects of the like game design and like gameplay implementation is how it plays with like all of the game, like including like the UI elements, which again, there are many games that have like fourth wall, like, oh, I'm opening the file on your computer kind of thing. But I think everyone always does it a little bit differently and everything feels very intentional. Like it feels like the game was fully used. Like they kind of really packed in as much as they could. I think my only critique of And Roger is I think they did like the disorientation like really well, but I felt like they did it for maybe a little bit too long. I would have wanted more dips into like some of the interpersonal workings of the characters a little bit. But when it does like finally do like some of its bigger gut punches, like some of them really resonated with me in a cool way.
Yeah, and I think what like got me is that like you said, it's like there are a lot of fourth wall breaking kind of things that we've seen, but this like even there's nothing that's kind of incidental to the story. Like these things that at the beginning just kind of seem like, oh, this is like a cool, edgy way of doing this like UI setting or whatever. By the end, you're like, that was very relevant. You know, like this totally makes sense why they did that in this way. And it's, it's really cool. Also, a difference from Florence is that this game does have spoken dialogue, and which is, or like, it's not, there's no VO, but it's
written
like
text.
It's written. Yes. There are characters talking, and Florence was entirely just kind of like, you're putting together a puzzle, then you can see it's a good conversation or a bad conversation. And this game has writing, and the writing is good. You know, like the way that the characters talk to each other is well written, and like, you know, the characters make sense and are compelling.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. It's like there's a rise in games that I really love, just about kind of like simple interactivity, just to tell almost a slice of life. This is beyond kind of slice of life stuff, I suppose. But just thinking about stuff like, you know, that Consume Me game is coming out that there's so much buzz about. Or like there's a game called Layla that came out earlier this year that also is a similar thing. And even like parts of this almost feel like To a T. Like the more like casual parts of To a T.
This is what I wanted To a T to be. Like not necessarily
not that dark, baby.
Okay, here's the thing. Not necessarily in like the tone of the subject matter, but the idea of like innovative gameplay. And that's like why To a T, I was really high on it when I did the preview. I'm like, this seems really fun. It seems really cool. And then when I went to play it, found myself kind of like bored by it. And I think that's where, it kind of like had that mechanical lacking, where here, like to your point, Jacob, I think one of my favorite aspects of it, to like expand on something you said, is they take a lot of getting the most out of a mechanical idea. Like they continuously re-explore it, but kind of put it in a new context. So like one of the early things that you experience is there's like you can click on a kind of button on screen, and then they add like a bunch of them and they fall away or they intermix.
Yeah.
And they do that several times, but it never feels like, okay, this again, because each time it's sort of spread out enough, or it's done in a slightly different context, and it really helps like keep you engaged like throughout the thing, which I know some people will be like, oh, it's only an hour, so like how hard is it to like maintain attention? But I think that's still like a feat that it accomplishes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it's funny like the way that it starts, where I got excited, like, oh, is this like a little Stanley Parable energy? Like this is kind of funny how it's all wacky and things are distorted. Then it's like, not really that tone throughout the entire thing, but it's interesting how it does feel like, oh, if you just like the idea of games kind of breaking themselves structurally, it definitely has flavors of that. But yeah, I really, really loved it. So thanks for pushing us all to play it here, Janet, and everybody else.
Yeah,
here.
thanks for playing it.
And it's cheap, right?
It's $5.
It's $5.
Yeah, it's
$5.
Yeah.
It's like this. I feel like this goes into the no-brainer territory.
Yeah.
Of just
I
like,
think so, too.
if you like stories and video games, it's $5.
Yeah, if you've played Despolote, like you should be like this is kind of in that conversation of strong narrative experiences that have like a bit of like mechanical differentiation.
Yeah, or like
might say.
Venba.
I was thinking of Venba as well.
too. Yeah.
But yeah, and Rogers, the name of that game, Terry Hand Studio is the studio that made it. It's a Japanese developers. Yona is like the creative director for this thing. But yeah, funky. It's a topic in games that I've never seen tackled before that I can think of. And so, yeah, interesting one to check out. And Roger there. Hey, speaking of checking out, what's worse than checking out at a grocery store? Am I right?
I can name a couple things.
I can't name one thing. Your card might not work. You probably got a squeaky wheel in your grocery cart. That's where Factor Meals comes in, everybody. Imagine if you just had a bunch of food in your fridge ready to go in minutes. And here's the catch. Good food. Microwavable meals within 2 minutes. It's just so nice for those points in your life where it's like, I only got a couple minutes for food. What am I going to do? Factor is the answer for you. I truly love it. They have 65 weekly meal options. 65 options. That's like you have your own personal chef. It's amazing. And your personal chef is your microwave. It only takes 2 minutes. They have more variety, more meals. You can choose from a wider selection of weekly meal options, including premium seafood choices like salmon and shrimp at no extra cost. Savor some global flavors. This is good. For the first time, you can try Asian-inspired meals with bold flavors influenced by China, Thailand, and more. The flavor countries. From more choices to better nutrition, that's why 97% of customers say that Factor helped them live a healthier life. You can feel the difference no matter your routine. So eat smart at factormeals.com/MinnMax50off and use code MinnMax50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box of Factor meals. That's code MinnMax50off at factormeals.com for 50% off plus free shipping. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered right to your house with Factor. I truly love Factor. I hope to keep them around as a sponsor. So check out the description. Use that promo code, please.
Ben, this would have been a really good opportunity for like you to have served us some Factor meals. Like you come down, like we're all in person right now. This could have been like a sampling.
Anything in my mouth that has been near Ben Hansen right now.
Okay, I could have made the
kind of
Factor
evergreen
meals.
like vibe, I guess, in some ways. But
I would have done that, but the only problem, Kelsey, is if there's Factor meals in this house, I'm downing them. I can't save them for other people. They're that good. Ad over. Jacob Keller.
Yes.
There's a game that came out, and this is the glory of the video game industry. This is what I love, is we saw a game called Ninja Gaiden Ragebound on the horizon, right?
That's
and
right.
Ninja Gaiden 4, I know, is your most anticipated game of 2025?
At this point, yeah.
Okay, right? And so they announced like, oh, we're also making a 2D kind of throwback Ninja Gaiden experience. And this is from the Game Kitchen, who made Blasphemous 1 and 2, games that you liked a fair bit.
Yeah.
But still, it is just the best feeling to wake up and see reviews, and it's like, wait, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound? Game Informer gave it a 9.5? Like, whoa, we have a real quality product surprising on our hands here. So what is it like for you? Because I imagine you didn't play like Ninja Gaiden 1 through 3 back on NES and stuff,
No,
right?
and this is totally my first 2D Ninja Gaiden.
Right.
And it's interesting because it's like, it has... the Game Kitchen has kind of its hallmarks, which is like beautiful pixel art, really cool looking cutscenes, great music, and it has all those. But the fact that it's not a Metroidvania,
yes,
like it feels weirdly uncommon that it's like It's a pretty high production value game for what it is, which is like a 2D pixel art game. And they're just linear action-packed levels, and you're not really doing any like secret hunting, and you're not backtracking. You're just like 1-1, you'll play it, there'll be a boss at the end, and then you finish that, and then you go to 1-2 and you do the same thing.
That sounds great.
And it is
so many things
good.
are just Metroidvanias now. Just let me walk all the way through a game, please.
Yeah, and I agree, there's something really charming. I think it looks great. It's kind of like a throwback pixel art style, but it doesn't look like, you know, Ninja Gaiden on NES. It kind of looks like a lost generation of Ninja Gaiden from later.
or like a lot of the enemies almost have like a metal slug feeling. You know, there's a lot of really good like, oh, I've got like metal and flesh, and it's all kind of like moving around.
But I think it like builds really well, where you start out, it's like first level, basically tutorial. It's like, okay, this is like as classic Ninja Gaiden as it gets. We have the hawk swooping down the whole thing from the old games and all that stuff. And it's like, oh, I can't attack up or down. I'm really just slashing straight ahead. Okay. And then as it progresses, it just beautifully layers on these systems where it's like, oh, that's a really good idea. Just a little, a guillotine spin, I think they call it, where you can like do it almost like a Samus style, like spin jump type of thing. And you can just like jump on the enemies or anything else to kind of launch yourself over. But then the mechanic that I am obsessed with, was like, surely someone else did this, is the hypercharge, where just some enemies have like a blue outline to them. And if you kill them, it feels like getting the final smash, right? It's just kind of, this thing starts floating, and you can grab that, and then your next attack is super powerful.
Yeah, and it gives it this almost like rhythm game feeling, because they're linear levels, and they know exactly when the enemies are going to come out. And so you learn playing the game that if you see one of those like hypercharge enemies, there is inevitably going to be like a big enemy immediately after them. And so you kill the guy with the hypercharge, and then there's a person who'd have to slash 5 times, but instead you've got that charge and you just get to like cut him in half. And as you go through the levels faster and faster, they just kind of like increase the rhythm of that, where it's like, okay, these guys you have to kill with the sword to get the hypercharge, and then these guys you kill with the kunai to get the hypercharge, and you're like doing that, like chaining them together in this way that's incredibly satisfying. And I haven't started replaying the levels, but I am sure that this is a game where like if you were really into it, you'd just be like, I'm gonna play this level until I have it memorized and I can do it, without getting touched.
Totally. But the part that's crazy smart too with the hypercharge, it's like if there's no enemies around and you want that powerful attack, you can also just hold the attack button and it's like, and then it takes from your health bar, but you get the hypercharge for it. So even if like you want that attack and there's not that enemy around with the glowing smash thing, it's like, okay, I still got a way to do this, but it's going to hurt me. But it's such a good push and pull balance. I'm only a couple levels in. How tough is it for you? How brutal is it getting difficulty-wise?
It's weird because I feel like I haven't played those classic Ninja Gaidens, but I know that the legacy is you're jumping over a pit and a hawk comes and hits you and you fall into the pit. Like that's what the experience is. And the side-scrolling parts of the game are pretty forgiving. Like you can get through them. There are checkpoints that are pretty generous. They give you ways to regenerate health. You get all that. That's great. The bosses at the end of the levels are extremely hard. Yeah. And in a way that I love, in a way kind of like Nine Souls, but also kind of like Metroid Dread. Like I think they're really well designed in that they only have 3 or 4 attacks, and so you can learn all the attacks within a couple tries, and then it's just get those all right. But like they're hard. You will spend, 30 plus minutes on a boss. And I love it, but it is totally, you got to know that about yourself. Of like, do you like repeated attempts at a boss? Yes or no? Because there's kind of no way around that.
But they do a really smart idea. By the way, don't be alarmed at home if you hear sirens. It's the first Wednesday of the month at 1 p.m., so they play sirens here.
First Wednesday of the month.
Well, hang on. It's not Wednesday! That's a Tim Schafer joke. You have to do it every time. I'm sorry. But they do a really nice thing too, though. Like when you go into a boss, it's like, okay, they'll say some Ninja Gaiden crap. I will defeat you, ninja. But then it's very nice. Like every checkpoint, every time you start the boss again, it's like, all right, skip all the dialogue. Like we're not going to make you. We know exactly what you want to do, which is just beat your head against this boss.
Yes,
for a
there's
little while.
no boss run up. You never have to repeat any of the level to get to the boss. It's just right there. And what's really cool is because there's this hypercharge system, you start getting faster at killing the bosses because like often they will have an attack that you can get a hypercharge off of, but you can also get like an upgrade, or if you bounce off 3 different enemies, then you just get a charge from that, and you can find those openings in the bosses, and so you're repeating it, and you're kind of doing the same thing, but every time you're just like, you're getting better and better at killing it, and so it's not just like, this is a 10-minute fight that I just have to wait my way through.
Yeah.
It's like when you get good, you can take them down very quickly, and it's really satisfying.
Does it feel like blasphemous to you to say that this game is better than any other Ninja Gaiden game?
No. Blasphemous is more of like you have powers, you have like parries, you have things like this is still, even with everything that it gives you, it is still a game with like one attack button. You know, like one attack button and like a ranged attack. But like it is, I really like the simplicity because it's all kind of on enemy behavior. You know, it's like you don't have to think about like what combos am I doing. It's all about just like what is the enemy doing.
And you can buy like talismans and stuff. They're like, okay, if you're below this number of health, then your attacks are much more powerful. So they like modify it that way. But at no point you're like, well, you get like magic at a certain point, right?
Kind of, but the magic is just kind of like another projectile. You're not doing that much with your fingers, you know? Like you're just kind of learning like I got to jump over this one and roll through this one, and like that's the knowledge, not like here's how I can combine all my powers in a super cool way.
Right. Do you know about Ninja Gaiden's history with like cutscenes, like how iconic those old cutscenes were for the NES games?
Yeah, well, because they recreate it in the beginning of this one, where the 2 ninjas jump towards each other.
Right. It's just fun to see, like, okay, they're not going all in on cutscenes, but they know they have to do the homage, but we got to change the aspect ratio and all that stuff. Because like, Kelsey, sorry to put you on the spot, historian, but it's like in terms of like video game cutscene pioneers, it's like Miss Pac-Man might be the first.
Yeah, I was gonna say
and then Ninja Gaiden NES is like up there for being like, whoa.
It's certainly like, a really iconic one from that era. So I don't like firsts. Firsts are not. It's not an interesting. It's like
a historian doesn't like first. What are you talking about?
No, because there's always
so
like,
this means nothing to you.
Because there's always
what
like
we're doing here today. It's just like who cares?
this other thing did it first, but like what matters is who did it first. Where like people cared.
Right.
You know, where like that became a thing that inspired other things.
Right. Yeah. I guess that's true. Yeah.
Which one do you think this is right now? Is this going to be a who cares or people care?
No, I do think this one, I think Ninja Gaiden inspired.
No, we're talking about being in the
podcast,
room together, Kelsey.
What?
Being in the room together. You're like, who cares about these first? And I was like, wow, like one tear just rolled down.
No, that's a historic first.
Okay.
Because this will inspire future podcasts.
I feel inspired right now.
Yeah.
When you get hand, foot, and mouth disease, this is how you do a podcast.
It's cool to have this out. It does feel like, here you go, Ninja Gaiden fans. Like, you got to support this now or lesson will be learned. Because it is wild to look at, like, the last 2D Ninja Gaiden game, fully 2D, is, like, 1992. Like, it has been a wild amount of time. And so the fact that they're taking this swing now is wonderful to see.
Yeah, and it's just like we said, it's cool that it's not a Metroidvania, cool that it's not a roguelike. You know, I love those genres, but it does feel almost like this is the best game from UFO 50. You know, that it's just like, what if there was a game where you were just a guy and you slashed people and that was the mechanic? Yeah.
I'm trying to think. It feels a little bit like a Contra 4 or something. Like, let's just get back to basics.
Yep.
You know, you don't have the dual screen thing, which I understand was divisive for Contra 4. But the weird part, other than Ninja Gaiden Ragebound coming out and people loving it. Oh, by the way, I assume it plays great on Steam Deck?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I was just playing on PC, but it was great. But the weird thing is, at the end of this month, then, Shinobi Art of Vengeance is releasing from Sega, and then Lizard Cube is developing this one, who also made Streets of Rage 4 and Wonder Boy and stuff. But like that is where it gets wild, where it's like, okay, 2 old ninja side-scrollers coming back, not Metroidvanias, and everybody would expect them to be Metroidvanias, but they're also ninjas in like the modern world.
Shinobi's got a little bit of that.
It's got a little dash of it?
It's a little dash of it.
Really?
Like you do like backtrack. It's not just like you go straight through.
Weird, but it's got like a world map with like the level select in like the demo that. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's not Metroidvania at least as far as I can tell, in that like you have to go back and there's these weird, there's like big things you're missing, but you do, I mean, even within the level, you can kind of backtrack and stuff.
Oh, did you play it at SGF?
I did, yeah.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah. And it does that same thing where you can skip all that BS when you get to the boss and you just go right back in and they don't talk to you again.
Thank God.
Love it.
No, it is. They have a demo out now for Shinobi Art of Vengeance, and so it's very fun to like jump right from Ninja Gaiden into Shinobi and be like, okay, Shinobi's art I like more. They're not going for like a retro pixel thing. It's more kind of stylized. It's just slightly less snappy than Ninja Gaiden is. But it's like, oh, but you can attack up and down in Shinobi. That helps. And like you're like learning combos and stuff.
It sounds more complicated than what Jacob was describing. Like I found it to be a more complex, like, okay, I do have to learn different buttons for different moves. There's like finishing moves that like you build up a charge and then do it. Like there's a lot more going on that I found. I really enjoyed it, but I also was like struggling to wrap my head around all of the features during this demo.
Demos are tough on that level, but like it, as I start to build it up, it's like even just seeing like, okay, this game has like an air dash. It already feels different, even though it looks so similar to what Ninja Gaiden Ragebound's doing. But yeah, it seems cool as well. And so it's just wild that Shinobi fans and Ninja Gaiden fans are both in the same month getting such a similar revival attempt. And
I want to know if there's like people who are like, Shinobi's the only good one, Ninja Gaiden sucks, and vice versa.
I feel like that was such like an like early aughts thing where it's like the people who were like, I didn't play Jak and Daxter because I played Ratchet. I'm like, we didn't. Who said you could only get one of these?
Right.
And I feel like now people are more willing to like maybe double dip, but I don't know. Breath of the Wild versus Horizon, like we kind of saw that conversation happen.
I remember
back
there
then.
was like an old Game Informer thing that was like, what's the better ninja? And it had like Ryu versus
Joe.
probably the Shinobi guy.
His name is Joe.
His
Give him
name
his
is Joe.
Well, did we ever like get an answer?
We're going to find out at the end of this
ourselves.
month. Look at the Metacritic for both these games at the end of the month, and that old Game Informer debate will finally be answered, I think. But Shinobi Art of Vengeance coming out August 28th, technically. And like it is the ongoing Year of the Ninja between this and Assassin's Creed and Ghost of Yotei and the Ninja Gaiden 4 Onimusha 2 remaster, if you want to lump that in, like the new Onimusha on the horizon.
We got a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles tactics game.
Hey, count it. Put it on the board.
I will say, I'll put down my cards right now.
Yeah.
This is going to have the best soundtrack of any of the Ninja games. The
Ragebound?
soundtrack in this game is unbelievable.
For Ragebound.
Yeah, for Ragebound.
Okay.
It is like, it reads to me almost like, you know how everyone who grew up listening to 8-bit music was like, I'm going to start a metal band and I'm going to play like metal, but with like the Mega Man soundtrack. It's like someone who did that got the keys to the kingdom, and it's just kind of like these amazing remixes of 8-bit tunes, and it just like every level is awesome.
That sounds perfect, yeah. Hey, Janet.
Yeah.
Not too long ago, you got to go check out a spiritual successor of your own, Cronos.
Yes.
The New Dawn, which is from Bloober. Oh, we laughed at Bloober. Oh, how we mocked them when they were making games like The Medium, and then they remade Silent Hill 2, and oh, we said, yeah, good luck, Bloober, and then they said, everybody agreed, looks like they actually did it. They did a good job remaking.
What's this a spiritual successor to?
This is Dead Space.
Oh. Have they said that, or are you just saying that?
I mean, it seems pretty damn Dead Space, does it not, Janet?
I mean, it definitely has some Dead Space DNA. I wouldn't necessarily like it. It is undebatably pulling on Dead Space a little bit in that the design of the character has that kind of like helmety sort of like hazmat look. And I wrote in my notes, Dead Space is when you curb stomp the enemies.
Correct.
that is true.
It also has like, the way you save is very similar to Dead Space. So it definitely, like, if you looked at it, you'd be like, oh, they're pulling some Dead Space inspo. But I think this is nowhere near as Dead Spacey as something like Callisto Protocol was, where they're like, they really tried to make a Dead Space, which I think is to this game's credit. To get ahead of it, like I went into this kind of skeptical, but I liked Dead Space. I played the remake. That was my first time encountering Dead Space, and I said, if you can give me a little of something, we could have a little something here. And I left wanting to play more of it. So I overall left like the preview positively. I think the drawbacks of what I played the first 2 hours, and I think just within that time, it is difficult to show how intriguing will this game get? Like, there's some cool ideas, but it's like, will you stay like this and end up being kind of like, it's cool, but it's a little basic? Or will you really involve on these ideas and we're going to have something like really fun, like with some of like the puzzle structure and things like that?
Yeah, so it's like third person. You know, the creative director compared it to like, you know, we've pulled a lot from Silent Hill in our past games with Bloober, obviously, even the remake, you know. But like for this one to pull from Resident Evil.
Definitely, yeah.
So that kind of ties in thing of like, okay, the same way that Dead Space was also tying from or pulling from Resident Evil 4, it's all kind of that lineage. But there's like, so the premise is you're going back in time to 1980s Poland to try and stop the end of the world? Or what are you doing here?
It's set, like, actually, so I wrote down just like kind of the straight lore bit, which is Eastern European brutalism meets retrofuturist technology. You play as a traveler tasked with scouring the wastelands of the future in search of time rifts to dive back to 1980s Poland. Survive a brutal future, travel to the past to extract key people, I'll get some more of that later, and stop nightmarish creatures from merging into unstoppable abomination. I think one of the most intriguing pitches of this game is the going back and extracting people, because it will have both narrative and mechanical implications. But like that's where my demo ended, like before I did the extraction. So it's like, but the to kind of, you know, like be brief but specific, the coolest thing to me in this game is the gameplay is based on don't let them merge, which means you have these, you know, kind of monstery enemies. You kill them, right? Ammo is like a bit scarce, not as scarce as like maybe like old school RE, but definitely like not infinite. And when you kill an enemy, if another enemy appears, they can absorb that enemy and gain its powers. So it's like, I killed the poison guy, an armored guy comes up. He absorbs the poison guy. Now that guy's armored poison and he's even more powerful. So why I thought this was really cool is it kind of creates just like a different context for gameplay where they kind of set you in some more like arena almost circumstances where you're playing with crowd control, where you're like playing with, let me explode this thing to light them on fire. Because if you burn the bodies, they can't be absorbed. So you're also kind of like playing with these other elements. And I thought that was like cool and different. I think whenever a game is very much feels like it's drawing from pieces of a bunch of different franchises, the thing I'm always looking for is, okay, but like what are you kind of bringing to the table? And I felt like that was one of their answers alongside, they sort of have one of those mechanics where you're messing with time. It's that classic thing of like, the rubble, ooh, it's a bridge now. And okay, two things on that. One, that is kind of simplistic, but two, I always like doing it, so I'm not mad at it.
With you.
But that's where I'm like, okay, how much are they going to cook with that? Or is it just always going to be like, you can't go this way. Now you can, you know?
Right.
Important question about shooting, guys.
Yeah.
So in Resident Evil, at least in Resident Evil 4, you can shoot a guy, he staggers, then you kick him. In Dead Space, you can shoot a guy's arm off, you can pick up the arm, you can throw it at him. Both of these are amazing because it's like, you're not just shooting a guy. Are you just shooting a guy?
You're kind of just shooting a guy. You can hit limbs and like kind of make them like stumble a bit, but it's not, they don't have like from what I saw, like a fun, and then you impale, or then you do this thing. And even like the stomping feels kind of like, it's there kind of just to be there. Like maybe sometimes that gives you like an extra drop, but it doesn't feel as meaningful as it does like in Dead Space. But yeah, like that's why I think the real fun thing is just like how you mess with crowd control more than the shooting itself. The shooting did have a weird thing. I looked in the settings and didn't see if you could change this, so maybe you can, maybe you can't, where it's that classic, if you hold down all the way, it's like a better shot. And if you just shoot really quick, it's like not as powerful. But when you hold down, I expect it to be like a hold down release at the top. When it fills, it automatically releases. So you have to like really hold it at like the right time, which I'm not the biggest like shooter expert. I don't really have like a big commentary on whether or not I think that's good or bad design. It definitely puts you in a different kind of situation, which I enjoyed for the novelty, but it definitely was a like, oh, this does make it kind of harder to like execute on what you're trying to do a little bit.
Are the guns like wacky, or are they just like?
So far, they're just regular. And it was one of those things where they even have like the lore name, and this I kind of appreciate. They have like the lore name and then in parentheses shotgun. Like honestly,
just call it a shotgun.
Thanks for just calling it a shotgun.
That's funny.
I think where some of it did feel a little bit weaker though was some of how they present the narrative. Like it was one of those classic preview setups where they're like, "We talk to you for a few minutes and then you like go play." And, like, I understood the vibes from when they told me it directly, but when I went to the game, I didn't feel like I got a big sense on, like, stakes or, not to be punny, but space, right? I think, obviously, Dead Space was, like, one of the best games ever made, but Dead Space does such a good job at, like, putting you into a circumstance, really making you feel like you're in that circumstance, and you're witnessing the horrors unravel as you go through this maze that's, like, was it the Ishimura is the name of the ship? And here it kind of felt like, like, go find the last traveler. And I'm like, I guess. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't really care as much. And some of the writing felt a little like too, okay, you want to like tutorialize, like, but through the writing where like the main character will be like, oh, this is a line from the game. Another relic found. It will help me gain an advantage in close quarters. I'm like,
say it. Just put it on Front Street.
And I'm like, I don't know, girl.
Well, Dead Space is the game where the guy wrote in blood, cut off their limbs.
Yeah. People use subtext in their cowards, right? So it's like, okay, those are some kind of weaker spots, but overall, like, I enjoyed, you know, exploring through the area. Like, it did feel like that. The fun of rummaging through drawers is never lost on me in a game. So I think if those kinds of, if some of the things I've described speak to you, I think you'd probably end up kind of where I'm at, where I'm like, yeah, like, I want to check this out. I'm not convinced it's going to be complete fire, but there's nothing in here that makes me feel like, you know what, I don't think I'm gonna need to spend my time with this kind of situation. I liked it overall.
That's nice. Yeah, it's a weird situation where it's also part of the fallout from Private Division collapsing, the Take-Two kind of indie publishing arm, where this was originally a Private Division game and now Bloober Team is publishing it on their own. So hopefully the funding has been sustainable and stuff. We just saw, you know, Tales of the Shire seemed like it was a similar situation where it was a Private Division game, and then at launch it was a little rough. So I'm hoping Bloober has the means to kind of, you know, let this cook as long as they needed it to cook. But it's coming out September 5th for Cronos: The New Dawn here.
And on Switch too, as we learned in the Direct.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what a funky choice. That'll be cool.
And the announcer was like, play as a man in space.
You want to do that.
Oh, no, but you're a woman, right?
I don't know. I think I'm not sure because you're just in a helmet the whole time, so I don't really remember.
The main character's a woman, but I'm not 100%.
Interesting.
Maybe.
So buy or don't buy, depending on that, everybody. It's good info.
Oh my god, yeah.
Hey, Kelsey, you seem like you're a person who's filled with ideas.
Brimming with them.
Brimming, that's the word I was looking for. But what do you do to make a reality? You want to start 16 different businesses, but you're like, I don't know the first step. I have my notebooks.
I don't know anything about business.
This is what you do, Kelsey Lewin, aspiring businesswoman. Websites. If you say, hey, I want to make this thing, make a website. And that's where Wix comes into play. They can help out in a big way. You can lock down also, just if you need like a site for your brand, like one Kyle Hilliard, he used Wix to finally create kylehilliard.com. Nice landing page for all things Kyle Hilliard. And the nice thing too is with Blue Sky, if you got that site, you can get like the real name on Blue Sky now, you know, instead of the messy thing. So Wix provides websites without limits. You ever used a website platform and you've given up because you couldn't get the site to look how you wanted? It happens all the time to so many people. Some platforms have very strict templates where you can't break the mold. Wix.com offers you the freedom to build exactly the site you want for any business idea. Super easy, drag and drop. They have templates, over 2,000 templates to choose from. They've been pioneering in website design for over 20 years. They know what they're doing. So if you're ready to create your own site and make it easy, you can go to Wix.com. That's Wix.com to start building your website today. Thanks to Wix for sponsoring the big show. Finally, we've got to the point of the show where we can talk about the big kahuna. Time Flies. the little game that Panic published by Playables, who also published Kids back in 2019, if you remember that black and white funky experience.
Kids.
Yeah. Well, not overall, but the game, yeah. But Time Flies. Is this as simple as I think this is? How would you all describe Time Flies?
Janet, did you get past the first level?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're all coming in very fresh.
Yeah.
To Time Flies.
I would describe it like the shorthand I would use is Untitled Goose Game meets Minute, but not necessarily quite as compelling as that sounds. Like, it's a pretty like minimalistic quick hit game. Like, if you play 75 seconds, which is like your lifespan in the game, like, you kind of get a sense of what you're set out to do. So you exist in a like pretty minimalistically drawn like black and white world, just kind of thick lines of like a little house. You're a fly. Your lifespan is 75 seconds. You go around, you see that you have like a bucket list of tasks to do, and they're sort of pretty like obscured. It's things like learn to play an instrument might be like the most direct one. They have other ones like make friends, and it's like, oh, how do you do that? And you find out how to do these things by going around the space and like seeing what's interactable or where you can kind of place yourself. And then in doing so, you cross things off your bucket list. And your goal is to finish your bucket list in the time span that you get.
It's kind of like a speedrun game.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a speedrun task list game.
You want to get all the tasks done in one go. And then when you do, we found out that there are like more levels. Presumably the game UI says 1 of 4 bucket lists, which implies there's like 4 spaces, but I didn't Google to check that that's the layout.
And you say we start with like 75 seconds. And the funky thing is it has you enter the country that you live in. And it takes the average lifespan of that country and then converts it from years to seconds.
Yeah.
So I am curious, who has the best lifespan? Is Japan, France?
It's got to be,
Probably like Norway.
Yeah, one of those folks. Yeah. So I wonder if there is
the pro
like
strats is to put in like the best.
Yeah, and
the
if you're
country
like
with the
a-
most resources.
Yeah, and if you're like a
fun idea.
hardcore speedrunner, you just put in a poorer country.
Yeah, because like the last thing is die of old age.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
on the first checklist. So
Yeah.
genuinely, it's like it might be beneficial to you if you're trying to get through it fastest.
Oh, interesting. So I love that, just dash of real world. Let's make you think a little bit about your own life and your own lifespan as we convert it to seconds and be like, hey, you want to learn an instrument? You got only a couple years, a few seconds to make this happen here, folks. I think we could all use some time to think about that in this wonderful time. But you're digging it, Janet? You're going to keep playing it?
Yeah, I think so. It's one of those things where, again, it's a really like minimalistic pitch.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the gameplay flow of it, but it's not lighting my world on fire. But also it doesn't need to. I don't think every game needs to be everything in every way. Like I enjoy what this is. And it's cool that it has more than just that first area, because I wasn't really sure what to expect, like having previewed it before and then playing it now. It's like, okay, what else is there? I also thought it was cool that I found out, it's like a light spoiler for the game. Again, it's like a tiny game, but there's, at least in that first area, puzzle pieces you can find. Like I found one, they said 1 of 12. I was like, okay, a couple more layers to there. Like I enjoy exploring a space and engaging with it. And I also am a sucker for like a short game. I'm like, how long is it? Oh, it's basically played itself. Boot it up.
Yeah. That's sweet.
It is, and I don't mean this in a demeaning way, but like it's giving Flash game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good Flash game.
It really looks like it would be like, oh my god, addictinggames.com
Yeah.
paid off. I got to play.
This is like the Flash game you would tell your friends about and be
Yeah.
like, you gotta
Yeah.
try this one.
You can get drunk. You
Yeah.
gotta fly drunk.
Yeah, so it's out now everywhere except for Xbox. Sorry, Xbox, but it's on Switch and stuff if you want to check it out. But time flies. I think it's like $15.
Yeah.
There we go, everybody. Hey, Jacob Keller, do you know how this whole thing operates?
Well, it operates by all of us getting in a room and being best friends.
The power of friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah! That's right, everybody. And by people going to patreon.com supporting this whole independent media operation. If you're coming out to the meetup this weekend, thank you. You don't need to be a Patreon supporter to come to the meetup at Utapils this Saturday. But
We will
We'll
judge
treat
you
you
a
better.
little bit.
Oh, all right.
Well, we won't judge you, but we'll do that like, thanks for coming. And a special thanks to the people, kind of
Right,
AMC
right,
A-list
right.
vibes
That's
where
right.
like you'll feel a
They
little
thanked
better.
me
Yeah.
specifically.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
think so.
Special thanks to you.
But if you like the idea of us doing these regular community meetups, you can always support us on Patreon. And again, if you support us before August 11th, we'll DM you a Steam code for creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion.
Oh, he's getting so choked up about it.
Story! And special thanks to some of our biggest supporters, people like I Am 8-Bit. They want everybody to know that like they do physical versions of games very well. They knock it out of the park. Their vinyls are amazing, their physical games are amazing. And they have physical versions on PS5 and Switch for Tales of the Shire, the Lord of the Rings game. And it has a bunch of cool stuff in there. You get the soundtrack code, and then you also get like a fold-out map of the village that the hobbits live in, which is called Bywater in that game. So if you want an awesome physical version of Tales of the Shire, the Lord of the Rings game, of course, on Switch or PS5, you can go to I'm8bit and you can use the promo code Digital Nomad for 10% off of everything under $100. Thanks to I'm8bit. That is the promo code for all this month. And you should help support I'm8bit in a big way because they support the MinnMax community in a big way by shipping a prize each and every week to whoever has the best community question. And this week, this is why you need to support them. This is why you need to keep I'm8bit around. This is why you need to use that code Digital Nomad, because they ship out amazing things. Like this week, they're shipping out Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight, the vinyl soundtrack, kind of like the greatest hits from Persona 5. And then also the bonus 7-inch called Velvet Room Hymn of the Soul. So 2 Persona 5 vinyls, well, more than that, because it's technically 3 total vinyls for Persona 5 sent to a MinnMax community member. So please keep I'm8bit around. Use that promo code Digital Nomad for 10% off. Check out the description if you want to learn how it works. So we really need to pay attention more than we've ever paid attention to who's going to win these games. Or these vinyl soundtracks. Okay, here we go. Travis in Fargo asks, what is the cilantro of video games?
Elden Ring games. It's
Ooh, like From Software.
Because cilantro to me, it's like something you should like, but some people are wired to not be able to like it, and I think that's From Soft.
That's good.
I went simpler with this. It's just parrying.
Oh.
I really
yes.
think it's parrying.
But parrying's different every time.
Is it just like
a
every
FromSoft
game.
game?
Is it just
They
game
don't. Not
is
to
hard?
people that think cilantro tastes like soap.
Okay.
All those games feel the same
Is
to me.
there a game where you like parrying in it?
Whatever game where it's easiest. Maybe it's Breath of the Wild or something. It's like pretty sweet. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think that's a great answer. Because my first thought was like Kojima games for being so divisive. Because you have to think about divisive games. But I'm like, but cilantro, it's not like, do you like steak? It is the flavor on top. And I think Perry, like getting down to that specific thing, I think that's a good route to go.
I think you could say the same for like farming games and stuff too. 'Cause,
Yeah.
Jacob, you simply cannot wrap your head around how to have fun in a game like that, right?
It's just it tastes like soap to me.
Yeah.
Plus, you can make cilantro in those games, so I think it works out quite well. Now, if you had to parry every crop as it was growing, it was like shooting out of the ground. You looked at it and go, "Hey-ya!" All right, there we go. That's what you need.
Fruit Ninja.
Yeah.
God,
The ultimate game.
it's not bad.
We can all agree Fruit Ninja is pretty sick.
Yeah, Fruit
Ninja's
Ninja's great.
Yeah, Connect is a great time. Adam Roberts says, "Hey cohorts, with Pew Pew Bang returning for its second season, first episode out now. Subscribe for the Video Game Slumber Party podcast. It's so fun to have it back. What are some of your favorite moments from season 1?
Sarah telling the story about being in the elevator with her coworker and turning to this random man who's the coworker and saying, what do you think of Norman Reedus and the Funky Fetus?"
Yeah.
And the guy not knowing anything that she's talking about. It's one of my favorite stories, and I've already retold it like 2 or 3 times.
Me too, yeah.
as I
Just an
can.
insane thing to say to a person that you are not 100% sure.
It's so funny because she was basically like, well, that's why I don't talk about video games with people.
Yeah.
She led with Norman Reedus and the Funky Fetus and is like, can't do it anymore. No one understands me.
And she hasn't talked to a stranger since.
Yeah.
I have it on good authority. That was kind of her final line in the sand, I think.
I referenced it because you have the Game Informer cover in your office.
Oh,
but
yeah.
learning that Haley played Peter Jackson's King Kong as a child, but only the last level where you get to be King Kong
Right.
and like keeping the save so she would never finish the game just so she could run around and smash stuff.
Yeah.
It was like, this is like a window into your psyche that a therapist would have to spend like years with you to get.
Right.
The Haley lore that comes out
Yeah.
of Pew Pew
The
Bang
Haley lore's been good,
is
yeah.
so good.
It's so good. And like, I guess we got a little bit from New Show Plus when her sister was on to play Orby in Halo 3, of course. It's truly one of my favorite New Show Pluses. Like, I think about that one all the time. It makes me laugh like a maniac. But like, that is the touch. It's just realizing like, oh, how silly Haley's family can be and like her relationship with her sister. That's a sweet spot. And also like the first episode, not that you guys have been all downhill since the first episode, but the first episode is one of my favorites because it was so fun to have like siblings on to talk about gaming, their youth. And like I mentioned it before, but yeah, like finally hearing from Sarah's twin, like that is such a bizarre relationship. I want to know everything about that. Like, how close is she to Sarah? What is that like? You know?
That's such a bizarre relationship.
Just the idea that, like, I don't know. It's so
Sarah
weird.
has family. Oh my god.
No, come on. Twins are special. If it's like somebody you know pretty well, just being
That's
like, by the way, I
fair.
have a twin that you've never seen or heard from. It's like, I want to know what they're like.
Well, I think it's that parasocial dream, right? Where I think one of the things that I think would be fun, but I know won't really happen for like a number of reasons, is I think everyone should have like their partner on for a podcast. And it's just like you do the podcast regular, but see like what they're like. Because but in seeing what they're like, you kind of get a window into like the person that you know directly, which is kind of fun.
Well,
Johnny and I have talked about having him and Isaiah bid on that. Like, I think it's a gift to the Max Prize where
Yeah.
you can be on the podcast
Right,
and have them
right.
split it. And then it's just a podcast of people's
That
partners.
sounds good. I do think there's a New Show Plus option, and it's debatable if they have to be on, but I do think it'd be a fun New Show Plus option where 1 week it was just family members or loved ones get to choose the content. They do the show. Like, finally, my nephew's just like, you obviously should be doing this Roblox game. It's like, okay,
Like folding the laundry. Just like,
right, yeah, I guess it'd be chores.
Be really
yeah.
passive aggressive. Like, I'd really like if you guys talked about helping
This
out
says-
around the
this says
house.
Apple cash me $200. Who want this in the bowl?
If people vote for it, we gotta do
I
it.
think the merch episode, I think, is probably our iconic, one of the most iconic ones from
Interesting.
season 1.
Yeah.
Tied with maybe the D&D one, because
Yeah.
it's D&D.
Shout out to Charles Hart as well for
Oh my God,
being
Charles
an amazing
Hart
DM.
is such a good DM.
I know.
I knew it was going to be fun. I didn't really understand how much fun it was going to be
thought
until
of
I was
everything.
living it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he saw so my character in that was like a pigeon person named Bredlin who lived in Manhattan, and he just instantly saw the vision and filled out a ton of other lore that just connected all of that. It was
No,
fantastic.
I'm still thinking about the pizza rats.
The pizza rats.
It's just
Yeah.
the whole bring your
Bring
own
your own
toppings.
toppings. Bring your own toppings is one of the funniest things.
It's very fun too. When the episode was downloaded, but I hadn't started listening to it yet, and then I saw a YouTube comment where they're like, "Wait a minute, is the bad guy in this D&D campaign Ben Hansen?" It's like, all right, well now I'm really looking forward to listening to this. This is gonna be interesting. But it turns out they had no relation. It was like Byron Handsome or something. I forget their name.
Yeah, totally.
It
Totally
had no
different.
relation. It was really cool. But yeah, subscribe to PPU Bang. Please help spread the word to femme-leaning people in your life. It's an awesome podcast for sure. It's fun to have it back. Jacob Mazanowski, not you, Jacob. Sit down, please. Jacob asks, "Hey, what's your go-to travel snack? Either for the travel or for the stay. Do you have a go-to travel snack?"
We did this New Show Plus a long time ago where it was like gas station snacks or whatever. And
hosted by Charles Hart.
yeah. And I was stressing about that because I was like, I don't know what my go-to snacks is. And I spent a lot of time thinking about it. And I finally have an answer, my gas station snack. And now I do get it all the time. Because I don't know, I would spend a bunch of time, every time I went, I would be stressed out about this decision because I'm trying not to just get a candy bar. I'm trying not to be crazy, whole giant thing of chips or whatever. White chocolate covered pretzels or yogurt covered pretzels.
Oh, yeah.
That's the answer. It's one of my favorite foods on earth. It is very high calorie. You cannot have that very often. But for a road trip or something like that, it's the way to go.
I would never think of buying this myself, but my beautiful, wonderful wife, every time we travel or get on the airplane, she packs dried mango.
Oh, I love
fun,
fried
yeah.
mango.
Few things better in life than dried mango.
When we were in Brazil, I had a little Ziploc baggie of dried mango that I was eating, and you said, "Hey, give me one." just like
right?
that.
Yeah, and then I started talking to you like you were my wife. It was a whole.
Well, and then you
hallucinatory
said,
experience.
"Is this the best version of any fruit?" And I
Yes.
was like, "No, I think I like real mango better." And then you were like, "Ugh."
wet mangoes for weirdos. You take dry ass leathery mango. I sit in the fruit tier. Dried mango I'd put above a lot of damn fruit.
I think
It's a little rough on the teeth, dried mango is the thing.
no-
Unless you just
there's
put
no
it
dried
unless you
fruit
just
that
put it
I
all
like
in your
more
mouth
than
at
the
once.
fruit.
Dried mango's the answer.
Are you serious? A mango is literally the best food on earth.
Have you tried it dry to the core?
It's worse.
I don't know that it's those are just two different things.
See, Chad has got my back. They say
Well,
I'm
we
100%
can't reach
right.
yet, so how do we know that
Yeah,
you're
trust me. Oh my,
Yeah.
it's lighting up. The boards are lighting up, you guys. They say it doesn't make your fingers all sticky and messy.
Yeah, so
But
that,
it's not
that
about
is the thing.
how. The question isn't how good is it to eat. Is it the best thing
With
to eat?
your
It's about
hands.
how good is it?
As
Yeah.
a travel
Yeah.
snack.
Okay, so
Yeah.
in a perfect scenario,
Or just as a
it's
snack.
dropped
Maybe
into
not
your
for
mouth.
travel.
I would take
Well,
dried mango. It's more fun
no,
to chew.
I mean, I wouldn't take it for
So
travel. but
there's so many fruits that I love that I don't buy very often because the way to eat it without it being an annoying mess is you have to get a knife and chop it up and then eat it with a fork or something, right? And that is inherently more work.
Yeah.
So I love pears, but if you just bite into a pear, you're like, okay, I gotta wash my hair
Yeah.
now. I
Gotta
have
take a
pear all
shower.
over me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're conflating quality with convenience, right? Games don't look better on the Nintendo Switch 2 just because you want to play them on there versus PC. I know the PC looks better. I want the convenience.
Yeah.
So the Switch 2 is the dried mango and the PC is the mango. It's yeah, sure, it's better, but do I want to be all
this
moist?
I
this.
agree with you. Ben thinks that the Switch 2 also looks
And that's why I think I need to
I'm
put it
losing
into a
track of this. I'm
context.
losing track
You
of this.
sound like you think that
And
Cyberpunk
hates
2
cilantro.
Cyberpunk looks better on the Switch 2.
I like combos. Those are a good
Yeah.
travel snack for me. I don't even think they
what is combos?
It's a pretzel on the outside, and then there's usually cheese on the inside, and sometimes it'll be pizza flavor or whatever. But
Better than pizza.
yeah, that's right. Better than pizza. It's I don't don't even think they taste that good, but the only time I get them is on like a road trip, and so then they just have like a special place in my heart.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm the same way with like corn nuts. That's like my travel snack. If I'm on a long drive, like out in the American West,
That's
like I gotta
an
have
old
corn
man
nuts.
gas station snack.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you so much. And I get a nut goodie bar to top it off.
Does it come with an AARP?
Oh, is that a
or what's
Minnesota
going on there?
thing?
What? Nut goodie? Do you not know nut goodie bars?
Oh wait, what was the nut thing that's in our Airbnb?
Oh, that was it was like
It's
a
similar.
Corn nuts?
No, it looks very like this is our local, please enjoy our local nut thing.
A North Carolina local nut thing is you get peanuts and you put them in Coke, and that's
Like Coca-Cola?
Yeah.
You drink it?
Yeah.
You
So it's
drink
like
and then chew?
Yes. This is like a thing that like North Carolina like drivers will do.
Does it taste good?
Yeah, it tastes like peanuts and Coke.
Dodging the question.
Wouldn't this be easier to eat like a bowl of cereal?
Sir, I'm gonna need
it'd
you to
be
answer
easier
the
to do a lot of
question.
things.
Need I remind you, you are under oath, which is what we call the roof of this basement that we're in.
It tastes like exactly the sum of its parts.
I don't.
Still has not answered. But
So someone was like,
interesting.
love peanuts, I love Coca-Cola. I really want to taste those two things together.
I think
at the
it's more
same
like,
time.
look, I don't want to be doing two things. I don't want to be eating
I can't be
peanuts
eating and drinking.
Coke
I don't know. This is making me a dried mango apologist at this point.
Yeah,
I'm
I
hearing
know.
some of the combos that people are throwing together here.
I'm thinking about like just graphic design for snacks. I can't stop looking at the nut goodie packaging. It looks like it was designed in 1924 and has not been touched since. And I don't know if that's
When you
cool.
pull it up, show it to us.
Yeah,
To be, like,
I can
so
kind
retro?
of see it on Ben's screen
Okay.
from all the way over here.
Do you remember the like? I assume this is nationwide. This is
Oh my gosh. I would assume if someone handed this to me, it was 100 years
Yeah, you
old.
found it in the walls of a
No.
house or something. But like, I'm trying to think, what other candy has not changed presentation? Like, I guess those like stupid orange peanuts. That's kind of in that
The
arena.
circus peanuts.
Yeah, but I don't, the packaging
They're
for
all
those
puffy.
have probably changed, man.
There are a lot of them. I mean, like $100,000. I feel like that's
pretty
pretty
standard.
Yeah.
old looking.
Yeah. Big Red. I don't think they have a fancy new version of Big Red, the chewing gum. Joe Dean writes in, ready to get roasted, Jacob Geller?
Go for it.
Joe Dean writes in and says, hey, I'm watching the extended travelogue for the Monster Truck video where Kyle Bossman and Jacob Geller went to a Monster Jam. You can unlock the extended version of the $10 tier. So anyways, Joe Dean says, I'm watching the extended Monster Truck video, and at 38 minutes, Jacob puts his burger on the plate upside down. And I want to know why he did that, because it stays upside down the rest of the meal.
Burgers are
I
a
didn't.
flippable food.
No, they is not.
Okay,
Whoa.
I didn't consciously think about doing that at the time, but I will say I worked in a burger restaurant. I've eaten a lot of burgers in my life. I think that often it is better upside down because it's been sitting one way, all the juice has been dripping into the bun.
Okay.
Then if you flip it, like if you keep it that way, the bun just keeps getting soggier and soggier, but the top bun isn't wet. And so you flip it,
Whoa.
and you kind of do it.
I'm also
Yeah.
with you on that because I feel like we had this argument on the SGF vlog. I don't know if I made one of the cuts, but about the hot dogs, like how you eat them or whatever. Because you guys like, oh, you eat the hot dog weird. I'm like, you don't eat it like a cartoon character. I'm like, it's because that's not how people eat food. Like the burger, sure, you lift it and you bite into it. But when I bite into a burger and I'm holding it, I'm leaning it slightly. I'm not just holding it like I'm
Yeah.
SpongeBob eating a Krabby Patty.
You don't keep the burger like perfectly level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm with you, but this is also
I don't know if that answers the upside down question.
No, I
think
like
it
that.
does.
I think
Yeah,
that's
because
helpful.
you naturally, I think, lean it. So when you
Oh,
put it on the
sure,
plate, I
yeah.
think it naturally plates. Why am I
Yeah, because
dropping it?
you-
I got it. My wrist is gonna crack in half trying to place it the way it's meant to be placed.
I'm right.
So it's like a game where you like press a button to like invert gravity, and if you just keep pressing it, you kind of hover in the middle. That's how you treat like burgers when you eat them. You're just constantly flipping them so that the juices don't get weird.
Like when I'm holding a burger that I'm eating, it's held like vertically, basically.
Right.
You know?
But
Yeah.
and then
For
you're
the
gonna
drip.
put it down.
Yeah, if I put it down,
like the opposite of the way that it was when you picked it up.
This is why
no,
you
I
need a
put
burger
it down
holder.
like probably upside down, like the way you
but
did
then,
it.
but then when you pick it up and it's upside down.
Yeah,
and
well, I
you
pick
put
it up and then
back
I
down.
glean it. It's like I'm working on almost like a fulcrum. Like, it's a very visual part, if you would, of the YouTube, where it's like, okay, like you're holding it, you put it down. But you know how people say no one's thinking about you as much as you think? I feel like
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
writing,
this is terrible.
This
Yeah.
writing is like,
How
is,
come
like,
you haven't
traumatic.
leaned away from the mic to sneeze yet, Jacob?
Come on. Nathan Aryer writes in to say, hey, MinnMax, what overlooked Game Boy Advance game should I go hunt down the physical version of and play?
Rhythm Tengoku.
Yeah, correct. The cool, yeah, you got to get it. Because Is that version playable anywhere? It was never brought.
It's a Japanese only game, but it will play on any of your Game Boy systems.
I have it sitting right over there.
I
If you saw it in my
I
collection.
noticed it.
Yeah, I love that game. I was so excited to get that.
Yeah, it's missing now. No, I'm just kidding.
No, mine's in box.
Yeah, she wouldn't.
Like, I would never debase myself with this trash.
What about Hamtaro?
Oh, Ham Ham Heartbreak.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
Ham Heartbreak feels good in a place like this.
Now we can boo her in person. Boo!
I would never boo that.
No,
It's the best.
dumb jokes are my favorite jokes. Oh gosh, what is a really good overlooked one? There's
What about that tomato adventure that Ben was playing
Oh,
for 8 days?
yeah,
Good one.
Tomato Adventure is good. But that's also Japanese
Yeah.
only, so you need to speak
that
Japanese
one.
to play
That
Tomato
one you
Adventure.
need to probably just
Well, who said you got to play
play
it, you know?
digitally.
Oh, that's right.
Kinda-
Yeah, just to have
Just
that
to
game.
have and to hold, yeah.
Yep,
Just
to
sort
be
of
called Tomato Adventure.
This is not like the greatest game of all time or anything, but there is a Lilo and Stitch game on Game Boy Advance that plays kind of like Metal Slug, and that's just
That's kinda fun.
The fact that exists is fantastic.
That's nice. I need a gut check from gaming experts out there because a game that I played a ton on Game Boy Advance emulator was Eggmania. Do you guys remember Eggmania?
I certainly have seen that cartridge several times.
But I love that game, and I feel like I'm scared to look up reviews for Eggmania on GBX. I'm sure it's abysmal, but it's kind of like, it's just like a Tetris, but you control the pieces by running around as a little egg.
I'm going to say it's like a cool 78 at least.
Let's see. Is there a Metacritic for GBA games?
Yeah, I think so. And then it goes back wildly old, and I'm like, who's even writing these reviews? Like,
Yeah.
Magazines.
Oh, yeah.
what, all like 3 people like writing? You know what I mean?
No, there used to be dozens.
Well, and they used to review every single
Yeah.
game
Yeah.
that released.
Right.
and then
right.
if it was like a girly game, they'd just give them all a 4 and move on.
Yep, exactly.
Review.
To be fair, most of those reviewers would have given women a 4 as
So was
well.
this,
So.
what, does this exist, the Metacritic of it?
PS2 version,
Okay.
which is called Eggmania: Eggstream Madness, has it at 64. But that's for the
That's
PS2
the
version.
PS2 version. I feel like it would play better on it.
I think so too. So I'm not going to look it up. I'm just going to assume that the GBA version is exactly what you want it to
I can't
be.
believe
That's
this
the
game I
greatest
know nothing
ever.
about. I guess the Metacritic wrong. I got to start sharpening those skills.
Who's gonna hire you to do that now?
I know. Hopefully still someone. Please, my family, we haven't eaten in days.
Try dried mangoes. Breaking Pixel writes in, they say, are studios missing a beat by not planning game releases to line up with TV series or movie releases? The Fallout TV show saw an increase in Fallout 4 players, and we all saw what Andor Season 2 did for the Battlefront 2 community. All right, let's unpack that. That's still funny to me. It feels like developers should really be capitalizing on the hype generated when another media product from their franchises releases. What gives?
Can you do this?
No.
Yeah, like this is not unless you're talking like a mobile game or something.
Well,
like
I mean, it's like, no, you can, because we had licensed games for years that would come out alongside a movie, and they always sucked. Like, it
Yeah.
was, if you try to time it, then it comes out too early, and it's bad.
Are you besmirching the good name of the game that you referenced earlier that I have a poster on the wall of, which is Peter Jackson's King Kong, the official game of the movie, which is the best
I
ever?
was thinking of The Sopranos' Road to Respect.
Yeah, ain't getting no respect from you, buddy. It is so tricky. And even like, when James Gunn and Peter Safran took over the DCU, they're like, oh, also the games are within this universe as well. And since then, we've seen the Wonder Woman game get snuffed out. And who knows how many other reboots have happened within games developed with the DC. So I don't even know if that's still going to be the plan. But like, it just takes, if you're building up a new game, what's it going to take, 7 years to release it? So the idea of like working that into your storyline when the game might collapse, like I just don't think it's feasible for that type of continuous universe. I think like Marvel wanted it to happen with the Marvel Games universe, and there's so many parts of those games where it feels like they are trying to connect, but it's just not feasible.
But I don't think they're even asking about,
You're right.
like, should
Yes.
they have a continuous
That's
story?
the hardest mode.
Yeah.
But even just like releasing on that time, it's like you can maybe get a mobile game out or something really breezy like
Well, it's you get Star Wars skins in Fortnite.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing now, is you get a tie-in with an existing living game, and like those, they work, it's like Sabrina Carpenter's popping off and you can play Sabrina Carpenter in Fortnite. Like,
And
that
we
is
have.
good.
Oh, we have.
Baby Bang.
YouTube.com/MinnMax.
But also it's like, do they need to? Are games just relatively, well, they're more timeless now, I suppose, with modern gaming. So therefore, like the frickin' Borderlands movie comes out and it sucks butt, but then everyone's like, that's a reminder, I'm just going to go back and play Borderlands 3, and the sales spike like crazy just from that alone. So it's like, do you really need to like day and date time anything if everyone's going back to Fallout 76 or Fallout 4 when the Fallout TV show comes out and they make $1 gazillion and they haven't spent a dime marketing it for the game? You know, it's like, it's just, maybe we're just in a weird era where it's like, why would we try to sync that up when we really don't need to?
I also don't know like how much movie studios and TV studios and stuff these days are at liberty to send things ahead of time. Like,
yeah.
I my knowledge of this comes from just like roughly the 90s, how this worked through talking to a couple of developers. But like, you know, they might get like an early version of the script if they're working on making the like Spider-Man game or the X-Men game or whatever.
Right.
And so the script may like change and stuff and they'll get revisions, but like they're getting a lot of knowledge about this movie before it comes out, and they're just signing a contract and trusting that that won't come out or that it won't be a big deal if it comes out. And I feel like these days, I don't know, like, are they still doing that? Or are they still being like, yeah, we'll tell you everything that happens in the movie. We'll send you the script.
Yeah, well, because I was thinking, I just looked up. It's like Mad Max, the game, came out the same year as Mad Max Fury Road, the best action film of all time. And that game is really good. But, like, they didn't, you know, the people who were making the game didn't get to know anything about the movie.
They knew
It
like
was just like a totally different.
Yeah, it was like the War Boys design they knew, but that was even from like an earlier version of what the next Mad Max movie was going to be. It's not like they're directly tied into that movie per se.
Yeah, and so it's like, that's kind of like a accidental best case scenario.
Yeah.
And even that, it's like, even with how good Mad Max Fury Road was, because it didn't like hit huge, it's kind of had like a building reputation. It's just like the calculus of like, is the game going to be good? Is the media going to be good? And will they be good and ready at the same time is just impossible.
Yeah, you can't land on that aircraft carrier anymore. It's just too tricky with it always moving and stuff. Yeah, it is. Like, I'm thinking about the last big example of this. Like, Mad Max is an interesting one. I think of like The Force Awakens with Lego Force Awakens, because I went to visit Traveler's Tales, I guess it was TT Fusion technically, for the cover story for Game Informer. The cover story that everybody forgets existed, but we did it. Even people at Game Informer were like, we didn't do that as a cover. It's like, yes, we went to England for it as a whole thing. But that was really interesting because they got to see like top secret, super early script for Force Awakens, which is about as tight as you can get. And I remember going out to dinner with them, and the big thing, God, it's a vague memory, but in Force Awakens, like there's like a vision that Rey has, right? And I think she like hears voices. I'm trying to remember exactly how that worked, but that was the thing. Is like they were very cagey about like, script we had some different vision stuff in it for Force Awakens, you know, and so like that level of cryptic tease, or like, you know, in that they had, you know, C-3PO with the red arm, and they didn't explain why, and it's like, okay, they ended up explaining it in the game with like DLC and stuff, but I think, is there a world where that's the last like big movie tie-in right when it launches? I'm trying to think if there's anything after that.
Look, if you can do it with Lego, you can do it with Lego again, I guess. But I don't know if that's the same thing.
I mean, look, I think they were trying to sync up the Skywalker Saga Lego game with the release of Episode 9, and that just missed it by like a couple years. Like that Lego game was challenging production, is what the behind the scenes stories are like. But yeah, it's just too tricky to do. But it's so funny to think of like Andor. I loved Andor season 2. And it does get you so jacked for Star Wars. Did you guys watch Andor season 2?
Oh yeah.
Okay, great. Like, specifically what killed me is like, no spoilers here, but just the credits music on the last episode. If you just stick and listen to that, because it goes from like Andor theme to then just like building to as classic Star Wars as Star Wars gets. So I have like the musical connection of like this show to A New Hope made me want to explode with Star Wars love. And the idea that people are letting that out by going back to Battlefront 2 is so funny. Like over like, you know, the Star Wars Jedi games or something, which kind of take place in that same time frame and have Saw Gerrera and stuff in it. But maybe just, I don't know what it is. People just want the quick hit of something like Battlefront 2, I guess. But you like Andor season 2 there, Jacob?
Oh yeah. I think it's maybe less good than the first. I think the first season is a little better, but like they're both, it's like a, you know, 9.6 to a 9.8. You know, they're incredible.
Yeah. Tom Bissell, who wrote several games like Battlefield Hardline, everybody's favorite, but like Gears of War 5, a couple other games. He wrote on Andor Season 2, and he wrote like the last 3 episodes in particular. And Triple Click has a good podcast episode with him where he's on there talking about it. And he said he had an idea. He had an idea for a character to look up at the starry night sky and for one of the stars to like twinkle a little bit. And that was going to be the shot of Seraph exploding from Rogue One at the very end, is the way he explained it. And he said that Tony Gilroy looked at him and he said, Tom, that idea puts the B in subtle, which I think is a very good phrase. Anyways, Resnet writes in, hot question, even hotter wings. They say, hey, MinnMax, what is the ideal head count for an in-person gaming party? As many as there are controllers? More to provide rest time and relief for the gamers? Fewer? How do you do it? What is the right number for a gaming party?
I think it depends on how much you want it to be gaming or how much you want it to be a party.
I don't think I can do. Yeah, I don't think I can do a pure gaming party at this stage in my life.
So you're gonna say maybe to my Super Smash Bros. 64-man melee?
No, I will. Tournament? I will be there, but there definitely has to be people to swap in and out.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think. I don't think past a certain age you can lock in like that and call it a party.
Yeah.
You know?
Because everyone's going to bring their partners who might not be that into games. It just gets messy.
No, it's just like...
Where's the girlfriend mode?
I didn't say girlfriend. Could have been any gender.
Maybe we just need hats to, add the party element. I like the, obviously biased towards me and Isaiah's friends, but the party that we went to that was like Mario Kart.
That was really good.
Right.
Felt pretty fun, It was just like you could play or you could just totally not.
You have to have that option.
Yeah.
You have to have the, I need to stop playing Mario Kart for a second.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, if there's one TV and you have, if you're playing a four-player game, I do feel like you should have, 6 to 7 people.
Yeah.
7?
To be able to just kind of, rotate through. Because some people will just be like, I'm good. I don't want to.
And there's always one person who's just not feeling it literally at all. Even if they do play video games. They're like, I just don't feel like playing Mario Kart.
You need swappability. I think ideally too, you have some form of stations. That's usually the ones I've gone to. It's like, oh, in the living room we had I went to a friend's birthday party and he's like, oh, we got Rock Band in the living room, and then also we have Mario Party in the office room if you want it, and you can kind of just
cool.
Or you could just be in the kitchen and hang out.
Yeah,
and,
I was gonna say the station is Mario Kart or stand in the kitchen, which is what I do at every.
Yeah, but because everything's open concept now, it's you're kind of still there, so yeah, I think so. Ideal number, I think comfortably can fit in the space and more people than are needed to play the game.
Yeah. 25% more people than there are controllers and expectations of playing the game.
And no, Jackbox out the window. It's game on, I think, at that point.
I think everyone does play Jackbox, but even then, you still have some people who sit out every once in a while.
Yeah.
Or they're oh, I can't get in. Because also there's so much random tech troubleshooting that can happen at a gaming party too.
Yeah, really got to get it ironed out. You can't be calibrating to sync up your Rock Band delay input and all that stuff when people are there. It's impossible. Hauling Gas writes in to say, hey folks, MinnMax without Kyle Bossman is akin to spelling MinnMax with just one N. Interesting. Well, we'll make do. What are some side characters in games that make their respective games better just by existing in them?
So the Bossman of games?
Well, I guess I don't know if it's as clear as the cilantro to Bossman idea, but yeah, games with side characters where it's oh, this is clearly making the entire product better.
This is a stupid answer, but all video games,
the hot fish guy from Breath of the Wild.
No, I mean, I'm going to come up with a better answer than that, but I can't think of a game where I'm God, I wish there weren't any other things happening in this game and it was just me and the big bad guy at the end.
Yeah, you want a weird, lively world in every game you play.
Well, it doesn't have to be a whole world, but there's very few games where other than very short ones that we, ones we just played this morning or whatever, there's short experiences that are fine without that. But any good video game of length, I guess, can't just be one guy.
Yeah,
Pac-Man.
Well, hey, look, you give him a wife, game's better.
Yeah,
that's true.
Is Pac-Man a wife guy?
What is their relationship? I mean,
she's single.
He's kind of chasing her.
Yeah.
So
even better.
In a sense, if he got her, he'd be a wife guy, or he'd be one of those guys
Well, actually, it's Miss Pac-Man, not
It is.
MRS.
So, yeah, they're not married.
Yeah.
not married. Yeah.
So we
They're
don't
living
know.
in sin together.
He could be one of those guys that just
they're
enjoys the
siblings.
chase.
No, because they kiss
they
in the
kiss.
thing. Yeah, no,
Oh my
Jacob.
gosh.
Luke and Leia kiss. Every sibling kiss. What about this? Okay, we talked
Ben,
about.
everyone hates that guy. So
Yeah,
Luke
you're
and Leia-
right. Yeah, but technically it's storytelling.
Luke and Leia.
It's the hero's journey. You have to kiss your sister. But
That's different than the hero's journey we're on, though, right? To be clear.
oh, completely. I know I made that reference several times. Yeah, there's no incest on this journey. But we talked about what do you do with Pac-Man in this day and age? In the last episode of the podcast or 2 episodes ago with Shadow Labyrinth. What about this? What if you just do like a Year of Luigi style celebration? You make an event and be like, this year, Bandai Namco says Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man, they're getting married. It's the wedding of the
think
Pac
they've
people.
done that.
The Mario Odyssey, they're Mario Odysseying.
Yeah,
they get married.
she needs to
Yeah.
turn down at the end.
There's
Yeah.
like an old, I think it's a video games and computer entertainment cover. There's something like that where they were like getting married on the cover of the magazine. I think this has been referenced several times.
Oh, you know what?
Done
That's
this.
I actually watched their Architectural Digest video too, where they're showing off their house together. So I forgot. Yeah.
Honestly, they need
Here's
to
where I keep my
Vogue
fruit.
75 questions with Miss Pac-Man, and it's just her walking through this elaborate home. Also, Ben, I heavily associate you with Pac-Man World Repacked for like the rest
Thank
of my
you.
life. So
I'll
just
take
so
that.
you know.
Yeah.
Going back to the question, I was thinking about.
Shoot, there was a
I
question.
want to go. I was thinking about how good Rockstar are at making memorably annoying characters that people like still talk about.
That's a
you know,
good
like,
answer.
Like the like wanna go bowling thing in GTA 4 is like a meme, but like people talk about that the way they talk about like their own annoying relative.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
like Uncle
GTA
in
5,
Red Dead.
like
yeah.
half of the characters in GTA 5 are people who are awful and I hate them and I wish they'd stop showing up. And also, if they weren't in the game, it would be a much worse game.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like they are so good at just kind of making a specific that you truly just like I know that Red Dead 2 was like a big hit and whatever, but like people still talk about like Micah,
Yeah,
and it's
right,
just
right.
like you remember him in
Yeah.
a way that you don't with like a lot of video. Like name, what's the most memorable Uncharted villain?
Schmitty. No, I don't know.
Schmitty, the one lady who looked like Helen Mirren.
Yeah, that's what you can remember about her.
Right. That's tough. Yeah. Nope, that is true. Yeah, they're the masters. Unfortunately, I'm seeing here the correct answer is Guildenstern from Onimusha.
That is
Guildenstern.
the
was
objective correct
Yeah.
answer.
I don't know what Charles Davis is getting at, but Charles Davis writes in to say, if one of the cohorts lost their memory, how would you convince them that they are part of MinnMax?
So I have more questions about this, which
Okay.
is like, do they still know that they like play video games, or are we starting from nothing here?
I think maybe just all memory is intact except for the fact that they're part of MinnMax.
Are they aware of MinnMax then? Like they've
No.
Could you
they're
like
Okay.
show them a video?
That's why I didn't thumbs this up, because I'm like,
Alright.
is it not just like, hey, you explain it and then show them the YouTube channel and
It's like,
say,
look, this is
That's
you.
you, isn't it?
But how about this? Because yeah, that's the easy shorthand. But I'm trying to figure out what Charles is going for. Maybe it's like you can't show them anything. You just have to talk to them to convince them that you know them so well because of doing MinnMax stuff with them. Is that the angle? I think.
Oh, so like, what am I saying that I know about their gaming past to convince them that?
Like for example, for like Haley, I'd be like, here's the top 5 little games you played with your sister. Here's you guys used to pretend to be mermaids for hours at
But
the
that's
pool
not.
or whatever.
That's not like MinnMax. That's just like
You know
I've been
me, yeah.
stalking you.
Right. What is the difference?
I
between
feel like
it's a
friendship and
blurry
stalking?
line, yeah.
It's like, I feel like if I lost my memory, it would be really easy to convince me that I was a part of something.
Yeah, that's-
because I
Unless-
feel like I don't know.
Unless you're like implanted with a different set of memories that you're
I hate video
convinced are
games
yeah.
now.
Because if you're just like
Right.
crap, I can't remember anything, and then someone's like, "Here's a video of you, and this is what you
Yeah,
do,"
it seems
you'd be
like,
like,
the easy,
okay.
like, was it 50 First Dates? I mean, like, spoilers for 50 First Dates if you haven't watched the Adam Sandler movie yet. But they have, like, they just do that video thing where they just show her videos. Like, there's a video she watches every day that kind of catches her up because she, like, doesn't have a long-term memory anymore. Mm-hmm. But this is, like, even easier because it's, like, it's already there. So, yeah.
Yeah, but we could really mess with it. We could like convince Sarah, like, no, you work for Kind of Funny. Go walk on their set. Go walk on their set.
They'd be chill with it, I think.
No, they'd freak out. They'd like get the fire extinguisher on her and stuff. Great question, though, Charles. I love it. Dodskrong. I don't like saying that. Please don't let this be question of the week, or else I have to give him a prize. Dodskrong writes in, and they say, I feel like it's the next game from the creators of Scorn. It's going to be called Dodskrong. Okay, on the topic of game bloat, I'm sick of crafting in every open world game. What feature would you get rid of in contemporary games?
If I ever told you guys the story of when we knew that the Animal Crossing announcement was coming the next day, and I went to bed and I had a nightmare that they put crafting in Animal Crossing. And then I woke up and I was like, God, they're not going to do that. And then they put crafting in Animal Crossing.
Is it telling? Or do I just have a bad memory? When I think back of all my hours playing New Horizons, I don't even remember crafting.
Really?
No. I'm sure we talked about it in the deepest dive, I'm sure, a lot, but it's like that's not a defining memory of that game at all for me. You know?
So much time making bait or whatever, just over and over again, because there's not even like a mass crafting option.
Right. So crafting is just it's got to go.
For me, that's
Wow, I'll be damned.
It is. I mean, I feel like it's like the reason that crafting is in all these games is they just need things to give you. You know, it's the same reason that like Breath of the Wild has breakable weapons is like you just need to fill 100 dungeons with stuff, and if you don't have like a replenishable need for something, then what do you fill it with? And so then it's like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't have 100 dungeons. Maybe you should have 10 dungeons that have cool stuff at the end.
In Animal Crossing's case, it's like it went from being a game that you're supposed to only play for 10 or 15 minutes to like the crafting element turns it into a game that you absolutely can play for 6 hours, but you're probably not having a good time with those 6 hours, but you're like, but I need to be productive. I need to keep getting stuff done.
Yeah.
I never finished making my island in Animal Crossing. I have like hundreds of hours and it still looks kind of like crap. But I think my answer for this is detective work in games. And let me be more specific. That thing where you scan and you find footsteps and you follow them.
Yeah.
I don't think that's ever been interesting. Horizon has this as well, as many games do. And I call it Detective Aloy, and it sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that like you can do this in a game. It's interaction, but there's nothing inherently satisfying.
Like,
you hook me up to a meter.
And what you find is always the wackest thing ever. It's like, oh, this was where the body was. It's like, oh, the pool of blood kind of gave this away anyway. I don't know if we needed these little Horizon footsteps to guide me there. Ghost has a detective mode as well that I never enjoy it.
This is almost outside the game, but the gross part is that it's not. But at this point, I'm sorry, Nintendo fans, but can we just kill amiibo functionality? The fact that that's still limping along, and
it
it's
is
gross.
limping along. Like, it is so weird that every time I see the amiibo icon pop up, I'm like, oh, we're still doing that, huh?
And I hated it day one. I hated the idea of like Breath of the Wild, one of the greatest games of all time, but it's like, I don't know, you can also, there's some basically $40 microtransactions where you slap a thing down, then some crap falls out of the sky. I'm like, that sucks. That's like ruining the purity of this game in my mind, that there's even that option. And the fact that like something that was gross back in 2017 to me, that's still in 2025, like, technically you can still do it. Like, I'm not going to pay $50 for a Ken amiibo to slam it down to my system anymore. Just let it die. It's okay. Let it go.
I do think I like amiibo as an alternative to paying for a DLC. Like, I agree that, okay, we've done it long. This does not need to be a thing that lives forever. Like, we can stop with the amiibos now. But I don't know. Like, would you rather have the option to pay $5 and you just get a bunch of potions or whatever? Like, I would rather it's like, I have this cool figure. Ooh, it can like do a little extra thing for me in my game. That's great.
Well, if you only give me those choices, yeah, I'd like it because it feels kind of like a Monster Rancher style thrill, I suppose, you know? But
well, I mean, or the other answer, I guess, is that there's no option at all and the game is the game. And I think there's an argument for that, for sure.
I would think so.
Yeah, very good argument. But if you know they're going to do something anyways, I'd rather it be a physical thing you can own.
Okay, I'll take that. So chat's saying you can summon a sphere in Bonanza? I don't really know what that means or how it means, but maybe I take it all back. Having a sphere in Bonanza sounds wonderful. Hey, Ryan Agogo says, howdy, MinnMax. After playing more Bonanza, look at that, and seeing all the different animal types in the game, it made me wonder what animal is most underrepresented in games. And then Ryan says, it's definitely not horses, I'll tell you that much. They're annoyed by horses, apparently. Underrepresented animals.
I mean, you can't just do the dumb answer that's like, oh, this obscure insect from
Yeah, I'm trying to think
coast
of
of
an animal
Brazil.
that I can't, because it's like, okay, octopus. You have a whole octodad.
You have Octodad, yeah.
Beetles. You collect those in Zelda.
I was
And
thinking,
Animal Crossing.
I was thinking of like tapirs because I was thinking of the animals that like I feel like I was a teenager before I saw it for the first time. I was like, what? How have I never seen this before? You know? But then I realized, like, oh, Hypno and Drowsy, they're tapirs,
Yeah.
right? Am I pronouncing that right? Tapirs? How do you pronounce that? You know what I mean?
Sure.
I think you had it.
Okay.
What about Donkey?
Donkeys. Donkey Kong's right there. He just got his big new game. What are you talking about?
I feel like
That's very hot dog sandwich of you, Ben,
Thank you.
and you know better.
I think we could do like surprisingly underrepresented. Like I don't feel like there's a lot of giraffes in video games, and that's like a pretty unique animal
it's
that
like,
we all know about.
What's the most common animal or commonly known
Yeah.
animal that is not in a game?
Just because there's no like gameplay function, like
Yeah.
slugs or something, like something that just
I feel like they're probably enemies though, in like some
slimes,
like like slimes.
Yeah.
kinda.
Also in Nobody Saves the World, Jacob's favorite game, slug is a form that's very
Right.
important, you know.
and it was
so-
awesome. Like the rest of the game, super cool.
Okay, if we're coming down on Nobody Saves the World, we've got a problem here.
No, I'm
folks.
not. I like Nobody Saves the World. That's
All right.
cool.
On your
team.
Yeah.
Didn't sound like it right then.
I just know my audience. I know Jacob.
Yeah.
Jacob was like, "What?"
But it is fun. Like some
didn't
animals are
sound
just like
bad.
inherently not that fun. Oh, here's the answer. I'm really thinking about this. Probably some Sonic friend from the cartoon or something. But flying squirrels?
There is a Sonic flying squirrel.
But
Also, the flying squirrel, like from In It Takes Two. Again, they're not a character, but
Okay.
they kind of have like a function. Like they're in there. Even the giraffe. Like there's a giraffe in the game we just to a T.
yeah.
The giraffe sings the song, makes the
I
sandwiches.
mean, obviously, like The Last of Us.
But hang on, are they squirrels
Yeah,
or are they
too.
flying squirrels in It Takes Two? Because the squirrels are like the commanders in the army
I
in
thought
the
they were
trees.
fly. Either way, they have like a. They're like they have a role. I mean, I think
Yeah.
I think they're on one at one point.
Okay.
This might be where chat comes in.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Was it a
exactly.
flying squirrel or a squirrel that happened to be flying? Because there is
Well,
actually a
because
difference.
it's flying like a biplane, right? Isn't
Yeah.
that-
Well, when they do that fighting game,
Yeah.
aren't they standing on? Are they? Oh, no,
think
they're on
that's
a
a
No, they're on a
biplane.
plane.
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought they were on
yeah.
a squirrel's back.
So, but in terms of animals that
Time
like,
for the
Funny
replay.
Mandela effect.
they do look fun as hell. Obviously, flying squirrel loves it every
the
time.
squirrel was flying a plane. He wasn't flying of his own his own anatomy. So it's like,
Yeah, but like it's the animals that clearly are fun to control that we just don't get to control. Like
What about
I think
flying
that-
fish?
Also fun. Yeah, flying everything.
Flying
I mean,
everything.
I was thinking if you don't count Koopas, then a turtle. I don't think like there aren't many turtles, but there are in Mario.
How do you-
Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Also,
they're
how do
kinda
you not
everywhere.
count Koopas?
Yeah.
Because they have little marts. They don't act like turtles.
Okay, buddy.
Whoa,
Okay.
whoa.
If you
What,
play
like you
that,
only act one way,
if you
Jacob?
play that
Open
new
your mind.
Mario music to a turtle, it'll also dance with it. Ba ba. Even a snapping turtle does that exact thing reflexively. You can't.
That's
do it.
a very different question. The animal has to act exactly like the animal.
I just feel like they are. They just have a shell, and that's where the similarity ends, right?
I mean, again.
But I guess that's a defining
I
aspect
think
of
they
a turtle.
yeah.
Come on,
I
man.
think they're in there. They're in the mix.
They're not slow, or they're not particularly slow.
I'm sticking with donkey for
Yeah.
my official answer.
They don't do anything. It's just a lame horse.
How dare you?
They're an obnoxious horse.
They are a majestic
the-
creature. You
The
got
question wasn't what's the coolest
Yeah.
animal that does a lot of stuff.
Bet like you blaming the donkey for that. Why would we ever put you in a game? You suck. It's like,
Hang
look,
on.
this is donkey slander.
Let me right into the bombcast.
Donkey's
What
fun.
is the
Shrek,
coolest
Shrek was so
animal?
popular. You would think Donkey would have. I guess does that count? Because he was in the Shrek video game.
Yeah, he had playable
There
character.
are games
Shoot.
with like donkeys are in like the Red Dead games and whatever. Like they're in
Yeah.
westerns.
I guess.
I guess. Brent Carroll writes in, it says,
no answer.
the in-person meetup got me thinking. Have you ever met someone in real life after knowing them solely online? And how'd it go?
Yeah, it's the whole career. This reminds me of when someone pointed out to me that is it Love is Blind, right? The one where they can't see each other. They're like, Love is Blind. That's just what gamers call Discord. I was like, oh my god. They're like, this is just Discord for normies. Love is Blind.
Except on Discord, you don't know that everyone is hot before it even starts. That's
Yeah.
my biggest
It's
problem.
implied.
with
You
Love
actually
is
have
Blind.
to assume the opposite on Discord.
It's like, why would you have a show about like you can't see anyone when like all of them are hot? It's
yeah,
so
but it's like, what
boring.
kind of hot are you? But
I know,
instead,
it's so
but instead of
boring.
asking that, I'm like, if you were to go in a kayak, how would that go for you? Answer the
Right,
question.
right.
I mean, it's
Some
because
of
they're
them
all,
have
like, toxic
flaws.
personalities.
Yes.
They all have flaws.
What was the question?
Meeting someone, or knowing someone online before, I mean, that's, I feel like, yeah, the game industry is just nothing but that. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, this is a real person.
Has
for
anyone
me.
done that outside of like work?
Yeah, sort of. Like I've met people who I have met through like forms and stuff, I guess, when I was younger, but yeah, just barely. Like,
Well,
I don't know how else to, like, it's not like I have met someone that I only knew online outside of a work context, and then we lived happily ever after. It's more of a like, oh, I'm going to the city that you're in. We can meet. We had lunch together.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's kind of...
There is kind of the elephant in the room. Speaking of which, elephants, put them in more games. Of online dating, if you factor that in, right? Like, I met my wife through that, you know? Like, that seems pretty darn important and big.
That does feel like not in the spirit of the question, though, because I feel
You're
like
right.
But you're not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I do think part of, like, this is going back to work, but, like, the strange experience that I had at SGF was, like, always the question of, do you know me as well as I know you? You know, like, there are lots of people who I've, like, followed for a long time and, like, maybe technically were mutuals, but, like, you don't know unless you're, like, freaking replying to each other's posts all the time. Like, do they have the same... Do they also want to hug you when you
Or,
see
like,
them?
do you watch my content because I watch your content?
Yeah.
Or did you just follow back because I had a check mark on Twitter or whatever?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Tough. Do you guys like meeting people in person? Is it just stressful?
Yeah.
It's like
great.
every preview event, like, I feel so stressed out of like, oh my God, I feel like I need to stay on top of what everybody's been doing. So I have something to talk about.
Oh,
It's like,
yeah, that part is
hey,
stressful.
You know, like, it's so hard to be like, okay, what was the last kind of funny video that I watched with Snowbike Mike? Okay, I can reference that
but
real
I
quick.
think you are better at that than, like, virtually anyone else in the industry.
Yeah, Ben
So
knows everybody.
You come
Well, 'cause
across...
I listen to
pressure,
everything.
which is nice, but it's like, well, everyone else is worse at that. So.
Yeah, you come across very, like, I am paying attention to all of my friends, and...
I also feel like you see somebody, you meet them, and it like gets permanently stored in your memory
That's
database.
crazy.
Where
What?
the second
Me?
someone, like when I hear someone
Yeah,
talk,
you're like, we
Yes.
we met that guy at a cover story at Game Informer 12 years ago.
yes.
Oh, that stuff, yeah.
Just like we're literally like,
Yeah, that kind of
I'll
thing.
meet somebody. We could be talking for like 30 minutes. Could be a lovely conversation, and I'm like, you tell me your name, I instantly forget it,
Yeah.
Who was
and I'm
that
like
guy?
stressing. I'm sweating, or I forget what people's faces look like.
Same.
Yeah.
It's like I do know you, but I don't know how to recognize you.
I think like the Game Informer thing is so unique on several fronts though, because that was like, it wasn't 30 minutes at a preview event as we're eating appetizers. It's like you're going to another country for 3 days with this
Yeah.
person. You know, like that is the type of thing where it's like, oh wait, there's a little bit of kind of locked in. Like,
But that
I
would-
know you, buddy.
That would stress me out, because what if I still did forget?
Yeah, I'd spend the second day being like, let me try to memorize what happened on that first day.
Yeah.
Right. But I worry about it a lot. Of just like, you know, trying to line interviews up and cool features up at MinnMax, and like, you know, getting a lot of rejections. That's a lot of the job, by the way. It's just reaching out to people and having me like, no, I don't know what this is. No thanks. Or just not responding to emails, which is lovely. But I do start to worry about like, oh, at some point in the game industry, do I need to be pushing for new connections in a bigger way than I am now? Where like, I think I'm doing all right on that front, but I still feel like all my references are like, this Game Informer developer, or you know, this Game Informer cover story, the developer I remember from that trip, and now they're working on this. But like, eventually, those people are going to kind of phase out or become less and less relevant in the industry. And it's like, how do you kind of rejuvenate that other than just really prioritize talking to a bunch of young people and having good times with? This sounds weird. Having good times with young people on like preview trips and stuff, right? I'm just like, I need
Careful.
to. I know, right? I need to like expand and like liven up my pool of contacts a little bit. Or do I not need to worry about that? And I can just ride this to the grave.
I think you do need to worry about it, but I also
Okay.
think you do a pretty good job of it. I mean, like the mouth washing 1,000 times resist
Oh, yeah.
like thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like those are two young hot developers who are going to be presumably doing more stuff.
Yeah. I just hope I'm not just kind of the realm for old man developers. You know, like I think it's easy, I think, to kind of.
Do we need a younger cohort? Are we starting to become the realm of old people?
Hey, Kelsey, I got bad news. You all are the young.
I
cohort.
know.
Well,
And we're all in our 30s.
Right.
it genuinely, it's because it's like, we're very lucky. Most games media people stop doing games media by the time they are 30 because there is no money and no job stability. And so
Right.
then it's constantly just like an endlessly refreshing, I'm 21 and technically I guess I can live on $15 an article.
Yeah.
And then they phase out and then there are new hungry 21-year-olds.
Yeah, it's a Hunger Games situation for sure. I don't know, Jen, how you doing with the industry? How are you feeling in this day and age about staying up to date and all this stuff and making connections and?
Yeah, I do wish that I knew more of like the like, I don't want to say up and coming writers, because I do kind of consider like once you're doing it, it's all the same. Like, sure, there's levels to it, but I don't think you need to hyperfixate on like hierarchying everybody. So yeah, I think it's always like beneficial to try to get to know more people. And just, you know, stay up to date on what's going on and who's doing what. I definitely think I could improve on it, but that's because I could kind of improve on most things that I'm doing, right? It's like we could always read more articles, reach out on more like streams, check out more videos.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I feel okay about it overall. Obviously, I wish the industry was healthier than it is, but I wish that for a lot of industries. Like I'm a big fan of the art. You know, my brother's sports journalism. It's better than ours, but it's because like that's not a hard bar to cross, you know, kind of thing. So, but I mean, getting to know even someone like Charles, who is like a bit younger than us, is like, okay, all right, like, you know, it's nice to keep
his
that
age
in rotation.
still starts with a 2.
The terrible twos, yeah. That's important. Like I was talking to somebody else on the Battlefield trip, who will remain nameless, but they're you know, getting a little older, and they're kind of, it was a nice quick conversation with them, which is like, what are we doing in this industry? What should we be pushing for at this phase in our careers, you know? And like, how do we stay in touch with people? And we both talked about that idea of like, both of us are not really into social media stuff, or just like staying up to date and reading everything on everybody's social media feed. But I do feel like that's so much of how people stay in touch with each other. And it's like, I think, is it just too lazy of a shorthand to be like, these 2 days every month, I'm just going to go whole hog on like Blue Sky and just reply to so many people. And that is the nice way to kind of cheat, seeming like I'm still fully plugged in and engaged, when in reality it's like I can't do that all day every day. My brain will ooze out of my ears. But if I just check in aggressively for like certain periods and just sprint, is that a nice way to cheat feeling plugged in?
I mean, you listen to like 40 podcasts a week,
right?
Why can't you just be like, hey, like this podcast?
Yeah, I should just even do more of that.
Because that's, you know, it's like I'm trying to give myself time every week to just be like, I'm just going to go and like read a bunch of video game writing, you know, every Friday or whatever. Like the new paced endless mode, I think, has like really good writing on it and whatever. Great. And it's you know, it's just like, well, I read that, and if it's a writer's name that I don't recognize, then I go and like retweet the article, and I was like, this is good. Yeah. You know, and it's just kind of like, you are interacting with the industry already. Yeah. You can just be like, I liked when this person said that. I'm going to go and tell them.
Yeah, I think I'm hopefully doing that enough. I feel like I got a couple of those every month of kind of calling out like, oh, this content was so good, please support this, you know. But yeah, we could all probably do more.
Yeah, you got to just build the instinct to like, when you enjoy something, then move to the compliment phase.
Right. If something that you listen to is like, damn, that's really good. Like, yeah, don't let it go unnoticed. Yeah.
I've been getting better about leaving reviews at businesses. Like, every time there's like, you know, like, I had a good meal at that restaurant. They could probably use another good review, you know?
Right. Yeah, that's a nice instinct. Instead of just, it's so dumb when like, you know, you look at reviews for something like a Airbnb or a resort, and something is so specific to their case and they gave it a 1 star, you know, where it's like,
it was too hot.
Yeah, it's exactly that type of thing. Yeah, and it's like, okay, well, just save people from those crappy 1-star reviews from maniacs who are not making it actually useful information for people. What do y'all like for question of Z week?
The road trip snacks led
road
to the mango
snacks?
debacle.
Okay, mango
stands out.
Okay, all right. Are we all in agreement? Do we have a quorum?
Yeah, give him some Persona music.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, iMape.
We'll never see it coming.
Congratulations. Oh, Jacob Mazanowski. Congratulations. iMape is going to ship you out that prize. Now it's time for something that we love to call Get a Load of This. Hey, get a load of this. I'll go first. This is a pretty basic one, so forgive me for my simplicity, but get a load of this. You know, Akiva Schaffer directed that new Naked Gun film from Lonely Island fame, and I was listening to a bunch of interviews with him about it, and he put it bluntly at some point in a way I appreciated. Like, don't let this be one of those movies that like 3 years from now you watch and you say like, oh my god, the new Naked Gun was really good. Like, this is like a comedy classic. Like, go support it in the theaters now. Like, if you like stupid ass jokes, if you like MacGruber and you didn't find it until like 5 years after it came out, like, by all means, go have a good time and see Naked Gun in theaters, because like the back of my head hurt because I was laughing so hard. It is that level.
Ben, can we just share, like, can you just tell me like one joke that you liked from it? No.
Yeah. Oh, there's a million. I mean, the montage is like, mwah. like in the middle, right? This is exactly my cup of tea. But there's a joke that I still think about without context, or just something weird happens and a character goes, "I'm scared." Like, you know what I'm talking about? It's like at the very end, like that is exactly my cup of tea for comedy as well. Just someone being very emotional about something that is strange.
I think my favorite like one-liner was when Liam Neeson goes in and he meets a guy, and the guy goes, "Lieutenant Drebin," and Liam Neeson goes, "Me too."
Yeah. It's amazing. It's just good, classic, stupid ass jokes, and that's what I love too. It's just a bunch of like jokes that easily could have been in the 80s, 90s, just like simple wordplay, like Pamela Anderson's characters talking about going to college in Southern California, and he goes, "UCLA?" She goes, "I live here. I see it every day." Like, just like, the stupid jokes that just move so fast. And like the first 15 minutes of that movie, it is like blow you back in the chair. Like, this is not possible. There is a joke every 8 seconds. Like, it is just an achievement. It's so good. So go see Naked Gun in theaters, everybody. Have a good time, please.
Get a load of this. I think there will probably be a lot of videos in this genre, but this is the first one that I watched and I really liked it. It's from the YouTube channel Hanani, and it's just, I dug 1,500,000 square cubic meters of dirt in Donkey Kong Bonanza, and it's going through the game's largest level, which is the landfill, where it's just like every single piece of it is destructible, and just removing everything. And like the game lets you do it.
How long did it take?
I like a day, like 24 hours or something. And it's kind of like they will be checking in and it'll just say like 3 a.m. and they'll be like, "Okay, I think I'm about halfway there." And then it's like not halfway through.
Excellent.
Very enjoyable.
Get a load of this. There is going to be the first female umpire in the MLB.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, Jen Powell will make history this weekend as the first woman to be an umpire in a regular season MLB game. She is going to ump 3 games during this weekend's Marlins Braves series in Atlanta.
Wow. It's like women refs in the NFL. I feel like that was a big deal when that started popping up, but interesting. So umpires. Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Get a load of this. Mine is also a sports thing, but it's much dumber than
Kelsey's.
I don't know when this got announced. I clocked it because I got to go to Leagues Cup, which is a tournament that happens between MLS and Liga MX, which Liga MX is Mexico's soccer league. A team called Cruz Azul, shout out to my uncle, it's my uncle's team. They have a new mascot. So I forgot if it's a sponsorship or if it's just what's on the jersey. I mean, I imagine it's sponsorship. They're sponsored or associated with Cementero, which means like a cement worker. So I'm guessing it's like some cement company. So they're referred to as like Cementeros, like that's like kind of like the branding of the fandom. And their new mascot is a bag of cement with just like eyes. And it's like, it is so stupid. But then it's also like, it kind of comes back around because I was seeing
Sandbag from Super Smash Bros.
Yeah, like I was seeing the like they had like plushies of him. We just played LA Galaxy just played that team like a few days ago, and I was seeing like the fans with like their plushies of like cement guy, and it's like, and I'm like, you know what? I think sometimes sports mascots, they're so bad they're kind of good again in a way, which like, you know, I find very relatable. So yeah, shout out to that.
I love it. Get a load of this from the Discord where people share in the Get a load of this channel fun little tidbits all day, every day. It's great to see. It's the greatest, cleanest news feed you could possibly imagine. I'm not into this crap, but one Mike Lynch posted this, and he says that the band AFI has announced they have a new album coming out on October 3rd called Silver Bleeds the Black Sun, which it feels like an AI prompt for what sounds like a new AFI album. But I had several people bugging me about it in a friendly way. Just being like, "Are you making a new episode of the AFI podcast?" And so, yes, of course. So Jeff Cork and I, if you're not familiar, we have a whole podcast called A Fire Inside Out that covers every song that AFI has ever released and every album the band has ever released. And so it's been dormant for a while now. But yeah.
When was their last released song?
Oh, that's a good... several years? Over 2 years?
Oh, that's shorter than I thought.
Oh, maybe 3 years? Yeah, I wonder the last episode of that podcast was. But the funky thing, so we'll have a new episode for this album for sure. But the funky thing is that like the people who dig through the history of MinnMax, like technically this YouTube channel started as like the video uploads of that podcast. Because I needed to seed the channel with something before I could claim the name for it, I think. And so like I uploaded all of our Twilight Zone podcasts with Jeff Cork and all of the AFI podcasts. And so now we're in a spot where like, well, we need to make a video version of this. So don't be alarmed someday in the future in October when a new MinnMax video drops and it's just a really thorough review and discussion of AFI's new album, because it's kind of our history. It's our heritage at this point. But hey, that is it for this episode of the MinnMax Show. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching, listening, sharing. We have a bunch of stuff coming up here at MinnMax. The community meetup's happening this Saturday. Uta Pills Brewing, August 9th from 12 to 5. At least one person will be left standing from MinnMax that'll be there. I promise. We're dropping like flies, but you know how it goes. But no, I'm planning on being there and keeping my distance and wearing a mask, as long as I'm still without symptoms, obviously. And I might have cool like Mickey Mouse gloves as well. Just don't give me too big of a hug, please. But I'm looking forward to seeing the community. We're giving out prizes. We're going to have Mario Kart World Tour running through the projector, so we can have some LAN knockout tour, which I feel like that's going to be the highlight. Like, Janet, you remember how freaking fun that was to do knockout tour in person at that preview event? Like, being able to do that with like a full community, I'm so excited. But Pew Pew Bang, the new episode's out. Subscribe, share it with a friend, please. The new episode of New Show Plus, what won the poll was, it was teased as Sarah's favorite place, and it's a store called Gerton's. And then it was a fun surprise for Janet and Kelsey as they were dragged to Gerton's, and Sarah brought you on the big tour of, do you want to reveal what it is, or should we leave it mysterious?
Turns out it's really obvious what Gerton's is.
But I'm very excited to watch that New Show Plus myself. So if you want to watch Sarah and Janet and Kelsey and Leo make content in person and recreate an iconic meme, or so I hear, you can check out that YouTube video. I think it's going to be super fun to check out. Then also, don't forget you can support MinnMax on Patreon before August 11th, and we'll DM you a Steam code for Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3, a good game that came out earlier this year. If you want to jump up your tier as well to unlock the extended version of Travelogues, we'll also send you a code for that. But hey, that's it. Anybody else want to talk about anything now that we're all in person?
I want to talk about your Nintendo Power poster selection on the wall here.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, you can't really see it off camera. Yes, this was, originally the idea was...
She wasn't necessarily saying she liked it, just to be clear.
Oh, yeah. You can...
I did just say I wanted to talk
It did have like an undertone of concern.
No, it's pretty good.
Okay, the idea was it's a game to represent... the 4 people who started MinnMax.
Whoa, okay.
A fan shipped us like a bunch of old Nintendo Power posters, which was very sweet. And then I was like, okay, which 4 do we actually blow up in a way that looks cool? So it's like Street Fighter is for Surreal.
No.
Oh,
okay.
Sorry, yes.
I just want to guess.
Yeah.
So like Street Fighter, Surreal,
Yep.
obvious. Mega Man X, Kyle,
Yes.
obvious. Then the 2 remaining ones are... Is that a specific
Diddy Kong
Pokemon,
Racing?
or
It's the
just
original. It's Pokemon Red and Blue.
Pokemon
and then
Red,
Diddy
Blue,
Kong,
and Diddy Kong Racing.
So Pokemon has to be Ben just by power of elimination.
Right, and so then Diddy Kong is Jeffem?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Jeffem's not a Pokemon guy, so...
Yeah, and he loves Diddy, the musician.
Which,
so it all works, yeah. Well, thank you. It is, it was very nice. Like, I think, even though it's a complicated week and things have gone awry in some ways, like, I look forward to several more evenings like we had last night where we just sat around a fire, and kept our distance, and it felt like some good COVID times of just like hanging out in person. It's just so nice to have.
Tonight, those of us that can be in the hot tub are going to be in the hot tub.
Okay.
While you guys look on.
Okay. So
and
like,
just stand nearby.
Leo and I will just be fully clothed watching you guys in the hot tub. And that's great. That's what friendships are all about. But thank you, everybody, for supporting MinnMax, making this whole thing possible, making this trip possible. Hope you enjoy the travelogue that we're making, showing off the entire journey here. That should be up, within a couple of weeks, I would dare imagine. But hey, that's it. We got a lot going on. We got to go tour the Mall of America and do a bunch of other fun activities here.
Rainforest Cafe!
Rainforest Cafe Day! All right, thanks so much, everybody. Until next time.
And now we're back to stuff.
You know
Sarah Padzorski, ladies and gentlemen!
Be good, have fun, let's go!
Hey!